Well, welcome back to the Racing Post Live studios. I'm back, Dave Orton, with you this afternoon, along with our sponsors, Betfair, for one hell of a ride it's going to be. Fireworks going off everywhere. Expect them in the studios coming your way. Welcome along, then. We're going around the houses this afternoon. Jumping, of course, back over those national fences. We'll be soaring them. Aintree in the Grand Sefton. That's our first race coming up as well, the 108. So we haven't got very long to introduce the panel to you. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Facebook Live, get involved. Let's get those chats fired up today. We want to hear from you. 10 beauties coming your way. That's right. Wincanton as well. And for the final time on the turf this afternoon, we go to Doncaster. It's pretty boggy up there, but we'll be trying to find you the winner of the November handicap at 2:40. Who joins me then? Racing Post brother from another mother. What a time for you to come back in, Charlie Post.
Yeah, exciting time of year, Dave, isn't it? You know, things are really getting rolling and back in town. It's great. I was here last night to watch Mamma Mia, so I'm slightly happier coming back today to watch some racing.
I can tell you enjoyed it. We haven't got time to get into that, but it's great, isn't it? The people going back to the theatre and stuff like this. I was watching fireworks last night. Talking of fireworks, we got the big Scud missile himself. The big bear is back, pressing some buttons for Betfair. It's G-Rod.
Yeah, absolutely buzzing to be here today, Dave. Fantastic day, isn't it? How many races we got on ITV? About 15,000?
Well, there are a lot of races because, of course, it's Del Mar, the surf and the turf.
Are we staying on, or are we?
Do you know what? Luckily, we're not. We're
Well,
not
you
going
don't fancy
that far.
staying here till
Definitely going to be glued
day.
into it. There was fun and games last night, wasn't there? With modern games, of course, we'll be talking about that. Let's go to Dublin, though. The big hitter himself joins us. Barry Orr back on the panel.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we all?
Absolutely buzzing, Barry. It's a big week, Barry, as well, isn't it, for everyone, not just the racing, the final sign-off of the flat over here. It's Safer Gambling Week as well. We're proud, you know, both at the Racing Post and Betfair to get involved with that, Barry, aren't we?
Yeah, very much so. Safer gambling is something we live and breathe, and we have to, Dave. Obviously, it's not just for this week, but this week really gives it a highlight and brings more significance to it. Obviously, it's just all about tips for sensible betting and to help people who feel they may have a problem. There's so many tools available on the various different websites on our own. Obviously, you have deposit limits, you have loss limits. You can set a budget calculator. You can set your timeouts on it. And then if you feel that that's not enough for you and you do have a problem, well, then there's several charities you can go to, and their numbers will be carried on all our websites and support organisations.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's the same with the Racing Post as well. Check out our app, check out our website. There's several charities out there that can help you. If you feel you need to talk to someone who can do so confidentially, get out there. It's there, isn't it? Most of these things are a pride thing. They're out there for you. 10 races coming your way. We don't have to play in every single race, but we will cover them for you. Raucous reaction. Let's enjoy the sport for what it is. Barry, you'll be showcasing the functionality of that exchange as well, as usual.
The exchange and the sportsbook, Dave, yeah, both obviously we've shown the functionality of what you can do differently on the exchange to the sportsbook. And we might just kick off, G-Rod, because I know we're up against time, but just place a lucky 15 just to kick off with. Obviously, the lucky 15, it's your cross doubles and trebles. It's and it's a bet that we like to do on the show. So we'll just kick off with that, G-Rod, if it's okay. Wincanton in the 225, we're going to back Winhouse.
Okay, let's get the sports book up here, Barry, and get going. 225 at Wincanton.
Wincanton, yeah.
Okay.
Winhouse. And then the 3 o'clock in Wincanton, Cobra de Mai.
Oh, Cobra de Mai.
Cobra de Mai.
Yeah,
see that one
There's
coming.
An old favourite. Hold on, I'm going the wrong way. God. Right, we're on Winhouse, and then the 3 o'clock, we're going to do Cobra de Mai.
Cobra de Mai, yeah. And then if you flick over to Aintree, the first race, our first race in Aintree at 108, I'm going to go remastered.
Yeah, remastered in the first race that we're showing in the 108. Okay.
Yeah, remastered. And then the final, Doncaster 205, Dakota Gold.
Dakota Gold.
Donny 205.
205.
Dakota Gold.
Dakota Gold.
And we're going to do a £1 each way lucky 15. The lucky 15 costs 15 quid. We're doing it each way, so it's going to cost us 30 quid. It's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, and 4 singles. So it's 15 bets in total, quid each way. Should get us somewhere around $6,000 if they all come in. But obviously, they're decent enough prices as well. And they're good each way races, so might get a bit of value there throughout the day.
Lovely. That'll be for charity then if it comes in. And Barry's getting very close to that, landing that lucky 15 as well. A couple have paid out in recent weeks. Great to have Barry on. Let's have a look at the first race. And don't forget, of course, this is your live and interactive show. Let us know that you are indeed out there. I've got a survey for you that I want to push as well before this first race. Between ourselves and Betfair, listen, we continue to bring unrivaled coverage to you every Saturday and from the big racing festivals. Your chance to win a £50 Amazon voucher. It's pinned in the YouTube chat, Facebook Live. You'll see it on Twitter as well. Get involved. Takes around about 3 minutes to fill out. We'd love to hear from you, our customers, exactly what you think we should be doing better. All the questions are out there. Get involved. You can win £50 Amazon voucher. 3 winners will be picked randomly towards the end of the show, I do believe. All right, let's get involved then. Here we are at Aintree. It's a Poste qualifier. Great to be back at Aintree Poste, isn't it? Soaring over these national fences. 240, isn't it? I think the Grand Sefton. But here we have a Poste qualifier. Who wins?
You've always got to temper your enthusiasm with these races with the final in mind, the first 6 qualification that you need. So I've looked across the RSC, active gold for me. Look, Barry might say it's £7 higher than its Irish mark when the English handicappers had a look. He won in the flat at Goran last time, and I think he's potential to improve even more over this 3-mile trip over hurdles and in a pretty open race full of fairly exposed types. I just thought he could be an improver amongst this lot. I can see Barry's argument with Remastered. He's significantly lower over hurdles than his chase mark. He was a very good novice chaser last year, but active gold for me, Dave.
Money for Remastered as well, wasn't there, for the Pipe Yard? Act of God then, isn't it? I think.
God.
Act of God, very close. You're hoping it's going to shine, are you? Yeah. But it is an act of God, and it might be. Edward O'Grady, the trainer, of course, Philip Enright. First time, he's got the West Awake, hasn't he, in the Grand Sefton as well. Great to see the Magnia colours going over those natural fences. First time I met Edward O'Grady was at 2003 when Monty's Pass won the Grand National. We met him in a bar with a couple of his old owners and stuff. He's an absolutely fantastic man to get involved with. So he would have mapped this out, I think. So he looks the right fav to me. What about you, G?
Don't know what's going to win this, Dave. I thought it was very difficult.
Very helpful from you, G, out there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow start for me this week. I must admit, we've got lots of races.
Crescendoing, are we?
Yeah, lots of races, and we're going to build up as we go. I didn't fancy anything in this race particularly, so I'm going to give it a miss.
I'll put in Aquila Sky into the mix. If you're reading in your members club, Paul Keeley and his Sizzlers fancies this one. A little bit of brunch with Kills yesterday. And tell me about Sam Alwood, the trainer. And not a lot of people will know about
Sam Alwood.
Sam Alwood.
Yeah.
I did Acts of Gold, you did Acts of Gold.
Yeah, exactly. We're back and forth. It's already started. He was a pretty talented amateur rider. He used to ride for Robert Olner. Real tall lad. And set up as a trainer. He only trained a small string from his parents' place in Cheshire near Donald McCain. But he wouldn't be a negative now. He's well able to operate. He had 2 or 3 horses that sort of ran up sequences in the last couple of seasons, and this horse he didn't really work out from chasing the last day at Uttoxeter, did it? But he looked relatively progressive towards the end of last season, and immediately switched back after one go at Uttoxeter over fences, and he's another one. And Harry Skelton booked as well for the yard.
That's an interesting
Harry
booking,
actually,
isn't it?
I think he's doing an interview with the paper tomorrow, isn't he? Where he said about not chasing the championship, taking outside rides, etc., and not riding out for other people. Sam and him would be fairly pally from back in the day, and just an interesting jockey booking, I thought.
He caught my eye a couple of times last year, this guy, and I think it was at Doncaster when he won or something like that. Finally got a paid out. One of these sort of projects that you should catch on. He would have needed his first run back. There has been money for him. It was at Doncaster and then, of course, at the Ayr Scottish National meeting as well. And look, it's an interesting race, isn't it? As you mentioned, the final. How much emphasis do we put on that when we're betting in these races? Top 6 gets you a run if you can get in at the weights in the final in March.
Yeah, but we all know the Irish will win the final in May, don't we? So the English horses might as well not.
I'm thinking they're probably going to win the Egg and Spoon race over there.
It's pretty dank there, isn't it? Aintree the weather looks horrible.
Yeah, let's go to Barry then.
Get into the ground, the rain.
We've seen some tips now then, Barry, across the board. Act of God and South Terrace, Dr. Richard Newland coming in support.
Yes, Terrace into 5.7, challenging Act of God at the head of the market, all right. Like I said, I fancy Remastered, but what I'm going to do, G-Rod, I'm going to back it and try to lay it back in running, because I think he'll want to get off in front like he did in the Reynoldstown. He's a decent sort of front runner, and I can see him setting decent fractions off in front here. So if you have 25 quid on him to win, and then we're going to look to lay him back at around the even money, we'll look to take 50 quid out of him at around evens in running. So you have 25 quid on him at 6.4, happy to be the price taker here, and then look to lay him back and green up in running here.
What price are we going to lay him back at, Barry?
We lay him back around evens, which is 2.0, and just make sure you select keep bet.
Keep bet.
So it doesn't get cancelled before the race goes in play.
There you go.
There is the first outright trade of the day then from the big hitter. And of course, don't forget that Lucky 15 has gone in. You'll be happy to see, Barry, he's unsurprisingly with Tom Scudamore lining up near the front as well. That's when they tend to dip below the prices in running, isn't it? When they like to get on with it a little bit. So
2 minutes late off here, Dave.
D Sabo is very late down. I don't know why. I don't know if there's something gone on in the preliminaries, but
we had a funny old. It's been a strange 24 hours in racing. Warwick yesterday. Did you see how long it took to sort out that photo finish? And they revised it, didn't they? Oh, very, very bizarre thing. 10 minutes. We were still waiting for that novice chase, weren't we? And then all of a sudden we went to Del Mar, the final race. Those of you that stayed up, let's get to that one. Mon and Games, Fun and Games. Charlie Appleby, William Buick win, but he was running for purse only. Stalls issue.
Crazy scenes, to be honest.
Very bizarre. Who was involved with that? Let us know. Let's get your chats up. We'll have some time in between the races. Fast and furious start. Only 10.
Excellent performance, though, in fairness, by the horse.
From Modern Games?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Massar race, isn't it? And Anthony Van Dyke, Derby winners, basically. So, all right, back to Aintree we go. We are off. Isn't it great? We've got a full crowd for the first time in nearly 2 years over the national fences. But for now, who will be booking their place at the Cheltenham Festival in March? There's a bit of a tie-on for the lead, and it's Remastered that's just going to come up in front. South Terrace, the other well-fancied horse, he's up there as well. Pylon. My goodness, Ben Jones. What are we going to see from Pylon today? Enigmatic chap, he's up there as well.
Rapper.
Dacia Alba, the other Hobbs horse, better known for his fencing, probably cracking up for something like the Welsh Grand National, but he is in there with a shout as well. The World's End, loads of favourites coming back out to play. He's in midfield, looking for the Dye Walter colours. That's Supreme Escape, another one that plies his trade over fence as well. Supremely Lucky for the Longsdon team. Charlie Longsdon's had 3 runners in this race, 2 winners and a place as well. Could he be a flyer? Let's have a look at Kashari, where he's buried up as well. Rapper, he's having a bit of the say. He's moved up through the field as well. And where's the one that I like at the moment? Where's Aquila Sky? Oh, he's right out the back under Harry Skelton.
Maybe not a bad place to be. Like you say, they were going at it over the first couple to try and sort out track position and that, and a decent gallop, I'd say, in these conditions. Because G-Rod said himself that it looks pretty miserable up at Aintree, and this could end up a test over this 3-mile trip.
The rain has arrived. It has been a dry period, cut up as you like at Wincanton, where it's quick, down in the West Country, not up in Liverpool, where the rain has fallen. Before we go to G-Rod, Barry, what's happening in the market on the far side?
4.9 now Remastered. He's your favourite in running. 4.7, 6 South Terrace, 5 Active God. They seem to be all travelling well in themselves and going at a steady enough pace without anything crazy. 9.8 Aquila Sky, 9.4 Rapper. So he's the one who's kind of taken on Remastered up at the head of the running there. And I also see the other one coming into it, Dacia Abba, into 28.
Just for people watching on, Charlie Longsdon's or Supremely Lucky, this might not be winning today, but the young lad that's riding it, Dylan Kitts, claims 10. I've just started coaching him. He's not been at Charlie Longsdon's long. He's kind of impressed me in a few rides. He's had a tidy, and a very good value for his £10 claim.
Okay, there you go. You get it. This is why Poste's here today. We were getting into our teeth stuck in to the jump season. If you want to know about some of the lesser known yards, maybe unfashionable stuff, Poste's got his fingers on the pulse. He will answer all your questions. Gee, you didn't put one up in this. If you were getting involved in running,
yeah, you'd be quite happy if you were on Barry's one, wouldn't you? Remastered. Yes, he's had to work a little bit to get to the lead, but I think he's slowing it right up now, and he's getting into a nice rhythm. And I often think in these staying races, it's about rhythm, isn't it? Getting them into a nice rhythm, not getting out of that rhythm, not taking them too far above their energy reserves in the early part of the race, and you just often see horses just dropping off away from the leaders, and might see that here, mightn't we, with Remastered?
Posty, I guess if you're on Remastered now, what you don't want is someone coming, Rapper, for example, coming up on Richard Patrick and saying, right, let's start going for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've just seen that like G-Rod said, Tom Scoos seemingly had sort of dropped anchor a little bit and steadied it up, and all of a sudden you're seeing Rapper and Richard Patrick immediately come to press him, and D. Saba and James Best, and so Scoos going to be thinking now, I really want to keep saving, and he's not going, but he's also not going to want these lads pressing on by him and trying to put more pace into the race.
In contrast, if you're sitting out the back, Harry Skelton at the moment, you think, come on, let's
You're encouraging them. You're absolutely enjoying this. The more they get at each other on the front end, it's only going to suit Harry Skelton and Actor God and Philip Enright even more so when they're dropped in a race like this.
Just something on Harry Skelton. He's a very, very patient rider, isn't he? So I was quite interested with the way that he went through on Chamblou.
Tom Collins.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, what happened on Chamblou last week? Obviously, it was a completely different type of ride, wasn't it?
First mention of Chamblou. Are you over that yet?
Not yet.
No, I didn't. You had to bring
I
it up.
think though in
didn't
his
you?
role with Dan Skelton, Harry has developed into a very versatile rider. You know, he used to be an incredibly aggressive rider. We've seen as an operation.
Got a lot of tomatoes thrown in at Cheltenham Festival, didn't he?
They've had as an operation though they've really sort of changed the way they ride a lot of these horses. They slot a lot more horses in now than they used to when they started.
Yeah, okay, all right. And Aquila Sky and Harry Skelton just starting to inch closer. For any of you that followed in Kills and myself there's a couple struggling out the back. Supreme Lucky looks like he's starting to feel the pinch. Yeah, they're really kicking up the turf, aren't they? Barry, let's come to you then. We've got about, 6 to jump?
Yeah, it's Active God and Remaster heading the market in running at the moment. South at 3.75 apiece. So 11-4, the pair of them in running. 7-6 Aquila Sky. And Dacia Abba at the moment is into 11.5. It had a bet for SP at 38.
Okay, all right, great stuff. Then we're warming up then. Top 6 it is for a place in the final. But this is a worthy prize in itself, isn't it? And Remastered then, just starting to wind it up now, Scoo, isn't he? And here come the closers. Active God definitely catching the eye. Philip Enright. Marker 138 looks tasty for him. Listen, a win here and he's in the final. No bother whatsoever. What's this on the outside that's coming? In the blue cap as well. This is Kashari. Oh, this is the first time away from Willie Mullins, isn't it? He's been called some names, but they're turning in. Isn't it great to be back at Aintree and jumping in November? Absolutely great scenes. And we are away. A couple of stragglers out the back, aren't they? Supreme Lucky and I think, who's the other one? Supreme Escape. They're both out of it. Okay, if you're on Remastered,
God travelling well,
this is what you want to see. Just shaking the reins at him now, Barry. Here comes Pylon. God, you'd be gutted if you got nut by Pylon back and rejuvenated character.
Jump.
Philip Hobbs then.
2.88, the Remastered 2.8.
He won't go through with it, Pylon, will he? I don't think he can. Kashari.
Might though.
Come on then. Come on, Remastered. Can Barry Orr get off to an absolute flyer in the first? This is the lucky 15. He's got to be laid in running, surely.
No.
Okay then. Not yet. He's not got evens yet. Come on, pip it up. Come on, up we go. Come on then. Now comes the even money. This is what you're going to see.
Match now in running.
Come on, keep going, my friend. This went off 11-2 for the 4 miler. Come on, Scoot. Keep him up. No, they're coming over the top of him. Oh, he's going to fall in a hole just where you don't want him. It's not going to be Kashari, is it? Dacia Abba, Remastered on the inside. Kashari!
No.
Wow, the Christie stable. Jonathan Moore, of course. Oh, his lot was said about Jonathan last year in the jumps game. We know he's attached to Gav Cromwell. My goodness me. Over the top. First time cheap pieces. This lad could not do it for Willie Mullins. First time stable change. I don't know. They've shown him a bit more love. Who knows? Smaller operation. Over the top. Barry, will come to you. Surely we got laid in running.
We did get laid in running, yeah. We certainly did. We got our even 25 in running, so we greened up in the race. It didn't cost us anything. We had a free bet there, and Remastered ran his heart out. He really has.
Yeah.
He's qualified now for the final. If they want to go down that route, it would be interesting to see what they do. But he's ran a screamer.
He has. Well done, Barry. Absolutely. Listen, first race of 10.
And we've a placed horse in our lucky 15. He's finished third.
That's the main thing. So we're alive. Absolutely. Nothing worse than going out in the first leg, is it? Or bombing out, that's for sure. So listen, the lucky 15. It's one of those afternoons. If you're still not sure about the jumps game, you think, I don't want to get too involved. It's the end of the flat season. Silly season, we called it on the flat. Who's keen on something at Doncaster Day? Are we still not showing it so much love? Of course. Have you got any naps at the Breeders' Cup? We'll give them an air for you. Get involved. YouTube, the chat is alive. I can see it. I've got it open on my machine. Let's hear from you. Facebook Live, get involved. Anything on Twitter, hashtag RP Live. Exciting race that, wasn't it?
That was a huge price. That was 125 on Betfair.
I think people have just given up on him.
I tipped him up on one of these shows before and he'd drive you mad.
He used to run at all the big Leopardstown meetings, didn't he?
Yeah, and he'd always travel away.
In the Richie colours.
He's some decent form when you go back on it. Like Selden Neige, I might have given him £6 one day in a handicap hurl, and they just shunted back in third that day.
Yeah.
He had some good form, but there's not many people that improve a horse after getting it off Willie Mullins, that's for sure.
He does really well with this Hunter Chases and that David Christie.
Yes, he does.
Barry would probably know even more than me, but he's a talented operator now. As in, he's one of those that probably a lot of people wouldn't actually know a lot about. But I'd say he'd be another guy that's not a negative trade in a horse that you want to back.
Yeah, DM Christie is a name that you see next to some very good Hunter Chases, isn't it? Point to point world here it's always back up and running in Ireland. Your first runners tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. a load of owner riders.
Down in Dorset, yes, you've got a Peruvian owner rider, haven't you?
He's going to have a go next weekend, first time rider, and people fueling their passion.
Isn't it great to be back out doing that?
Yeah,
Point to point, Fanji?
Yeah, absolutely love pointing. Yeah, I go to lots and lots of point to points up in the Anglia sort of area, Horse Heath, places like that. Love it
Never been
during
to
the
Horse
winter.
Heath,
yeah, can't wait for it to get back going. Cottenham's one of my local ones.
Especially after such a tricky season.
No more Cottenham.
No more Cottenham. Oh, well, that is a big disappointment.
That's a big omission, isn't it?
Yeah.
So has that fallen by the wayside because of COVID?
I think the land's been sold or something. Yes.
Right, okay. Yeah, all right.
I mean, that's a long-standing
coming
one,
back. So we're hoping for a full point-to-point season.
Yes.
Poste's got his fingers in there. There's a Cheltenham Open meeting next weekend as well. There's a big sale there as well. Are you going down and schmoozing, walking the room?
We've got one running tomorrow that I suppose if it won, he might go there. Yeah, Black Sam Bellamy horse. But we'll see.
I wonder why you were keen to come on the show today. All right, great stuff. We're off and running then. We've got to go to Doncaster. There's a Betfair SP. Look at that. The first race in. Kashari. How many of you are out there are like, I can't believe Kashari. There will be people coming back in later and checking their results, won't they, and going, no, not Kashari, the perennial eye catcher. There you go. So Willie Mullins will probably be thinking, we always knew he had it. A little bit of love and
maybe
care.
that horse has been out hunting and that's what's freshened him up a little bit, possibly.
It's very possible, isn't it?
Good
Jumping gates and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they love it, don't they? Horses getting out there in the field,
Yes,
you know.
yeah. I mean, I think like the likes of Gordon Elliott and that does it with them plenty. You know, you see them going off and doing different things, and certainly with those older ones, just to mentally freshen them up and do something different. It's a great thing for them.
Okay, all right. So let's go to Doncaster. Who wants a flat race? I can see Boardman going down for the 125. Around about 5 minutes away from that. Barry, we've got 18 runners going to Poste. It's 7 furlongs. It's going to be a quagmire up there. Have you got any help for us, man?
Yeah, a horse that I thought would run well at now. He doesn't win many races, and that's a big black mark against him. But he's a consistent sort of type, and this is the ground that he really thrives on. Sheila Lavery's Irish runner. It's quizzical. I thought it could go well at a big price. Currently trading on the Betfair Exchange. Jenny, I have to go well down below the fold to find this one. Currently trading at 42 on the Exchange G-Rod. So what we're going to do is we're going to back it win, and we're going to back it 6 places. So 25 quid on the win market, and then the 6th place market, we're going to look to have 25 quid on it as well. Yeah, like I said, 6-year-old, he's well exposed at this stage, but this is his ground, and he should really enjoy it. When you go back to a really fast run, 7 furlongs on this sort of ground is what he wants. He had a great run back in July on soft ground in the Colin Quinn Mile at the Galway Festival, which is one of the hottest handicaps of the year. And he was given £9 to the winner, Sir Jack Thomas of Ado McGuinness's, and that was a cracking run. So if he gets a clear run, really stiff 7 furlongs, fast 7 furlongs on this sort of ground, I can't see him out of the first 6.
I like that. A bit of confidence then, G.
Yeah, absolutely, and why not? Because the Irish obviously win every race in Britain. They just won another one, so wouldn't surprise me if this one winged in at 40-odd to 1 for Barry, would it?
Yeah, we could talk about that a little bit later on the show as well. We think we're going to be seeing some more Irish runners coming over, don't we, on the all-weather as well, and all sorts of stuff. We've got the all-weather sort of season has actually begun. But look, let's celebrate this flat season. It's still out alive. Where are we going, G? Is this a tip race?
No, I thought it was a very difficult race again, isn't it? I mean, what we got, 18 runners, really testing ground, end of season, very, very tough race, obviously, and a bunch of horses who have been on the go all season. So, bit of a guessing game as to who's going to be at the top of their form. And again, just from a responsible gambling perspective, I thought this one was one to sit out, Dave.
All right, fine. I can tell you that the first race, the 11.50 over 6 furlongs, was the best part's a 9 seconds slow. So, look, it's pretty quick at Wincanton. We're going to be going soon. A race that's really cut up. But the other one was, the 12.20 was pretty much the same as well. So it's boggy up there. It's what you expect. Can you remember November handicaps? We were on good to fur. Ever. It just doesn't happen. Occasionally you get the odd Champions Day or art, don't you? But certainly not here, that's for sure. But listen, it opens up an opportunity for horses that have been waiting for this sort of ground. It has been a dry autumn, as we well know. Have you got any favourites in here?
Just Jane Elliott just got a nasty fall going out on the track on pause for thought, first time hood on, back on now and just going down the post a little bit keen. Yeah, Tom Daskin's horse. I mean, again, I completely agree with G-Rod as in it's tricky and I'm not a strong fancy, but looking through it, I quite like Fresh. You know, likes soft ground, heavy ground performer. He was sort of first in his group up the middle at Ascot.
A bit unlucky not to have added to that Ascot one, isn't he?
Yeah, and like I say, he won his group in the middle behind Aldari at Ascot.
So 7's not a problem.
Yeah, ran well over 6 at Donny the other day. Back up to 7 is a plus. And those were, ground, track, trip, horse that sort of has been running consistently to his mark.
It is one of this race, and it is this sort of meeting, isn't it, where you'll think, oh, I'm done with the flat, and then a project horse, if you like, or something that you've been seeing, they'll come out. We've got big field sizes, the last chance to run on turf. Anywhere for a flat horse now. So Boardman is one of mine, I've got to tell you, for the Easterbees, who looked like he might be a sort of Wokingham Stewards type horse, didn't he? And then maybe just lost his way. Do you remember was it the May meeting at Chester, where he absolutely hosed up?
Is he badly handicapped now? Like, is the mark,
He's 91, but he has danced some fair dances, shall we say. And behind Volatile Analyst last time, also you like later on.
I like later, yeah.
He really caught my eye, and I think he does want this 7. Ground will be absolutely no problems. That was behind that Laugh a Minute race. Do you remember when Volatile Analyst went across, didn't he? And he just caught my eye then. I thought, I'm not going to give up on you quite yet.
That was the day we thought that the winner was going to get chucked out, and then when we actually watched it, we were like, do you know what?
Probably not. Laugh a Minute. He's one of those travelly, cruisy things, isn't he, that just doesn't quite get his head in front. So it's Boardman for me. G's watching it. Draw, what are we thinking here? 18 runners down the middle?
Oh, this is where I was also getting a bit confused. Instincts just tell me near side on soft ground at Donny. Is that right, or is that going to be proven wrong? What do you think, Dave?
You'd like to often think it's high, which is near side, wouldn't you? But it's certainly never far side, is it? You don't really see it at Donny anymore. It's such a big, expansive straight on the town moor. But I wouldn't be very surprised if they didn't come out in the middle on soft ground. I think they tend to.
You think
it's obviously follow the leader, isn't it? But
the middle.
We're not going to miss that during the winter, are we? Trying to work out who's going to lead down a bombing cavalry charge, are we?
Bernardo O'Reilly was unlucky the last day.
Is he one of those?
That's one of those horses, though.
Possibly. Richard Spencer and Martin Dwyer on drawn high. Yeah, again, another one out there. Marshall Dan drawn in 1. Sylvester de Souza, you would imagine there could be some pace far side. Busala, I'm surprised that's as big as it is for Tom Marquand. They're already off the mark, William Aggies' team. They've got a very interesting runner in the sprint coming up our next race. For the Shadwells, who've taken out a novice race. Really surprised, maybe the ground there. Orban will like the ground. Jamie Spencer, this is his sort of parade, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of thing in this sort of race, is that at this time of year, you could think to yourself, well, the trainer, look at the trainer. How's the trainer going now? At this stage of the season, if the trainer's still going well, that's obviously a big plus. And William Haggis has been flying, hasn't he?
He absolutely has. I'm just looking at what we've got coming up next. I think we've got some time for some socials coming up. When's the Rising Stars? 150, isn't it?
Yeah.
The now 3-runner Rising Stars. No brave man's game. We'll get to that.
Do you just presume that...
You got it. Chris Timms. Chris, welcome along. I'm delighted to say Social Interaction is joining us on the show. Chris, one of our regulars. Afternoon, everyone. Decent bet on Tom Frey in the next at Doncaster. Trip, course and soft ground in his favour. Kills is absolutely convinced that this will win this race, by the way. This is going to be one of his naps of the day. Is he 2 from 2 at Donny? I think he is as well.
Absolutely amazed that Kills is still tipping on the flat races. I mean, he's a huge
Gave him a bit of
fan,
stick about this yesterday, but
he must really fancy this.
He was even trying to tell us, you've got to be with a couple at the Breeders' Cup as well. So
what, Kills?
Kills?
No,
he was absolutely. He thinks love's an absolute moral, as they call it over in the States. Just gets out.
Yeah, but Kills knows nothing about American racing.
He did put in that disclaimer, and of course mentioned it was safe gambling week. But it's, again, look, it's so much racing out there. This is where it can be a bit of a tough thing. You've got discipline is important, isn't it? Keep a record of your bets, all that sort of stuff. Look where you're doing. It's important to see it rather than you can pull the wool over your own eyes a bit. Let's get some more up. Matty Draycott comes back on. Going with Fresh and Poste in the next. Yeah, he does deserve it, doesn't he? Shouldn't mind the ground. You can see him coming over the top next. Is that it? Okay. We are building the socials up. We've got Will and Carl in the gallery today. They will be sifting through. Let us know you're out there. What's the nap of the day? What's going to win the Breeders' Cup Classic? All that sort of thing. If that's your thing, we will give you a mention. Ron Wood, our Spotlight Supremo. Amazing amount of work Ron Wood has done on those spotlights. I mean, that really should be. We've done spotlight writing, right, Post. It is you have to lie down in a dark room after you've done it.
I could imagine, yeah.
It's hardcore, isn't it?
It's very, very frustrating as well when you get a tweeting or something afterwards from like one of the connections saying, oh, you've made a mistake here. And it can be the most minor of mistakes. But you see, each connection will read their own horse. Yeah. But what sometimes get lost, as we were talking about jockeys making mistakes, sometimes even when you're writing spotlights, you're writing 15, 16 horses and you're doing that maybe 5 races, you're doing 70, 80 horses a day.
Yeah.
One mistake sneaks in, the connection will definitely pick it up.
Always. And Ron has done a monumental amount of work as usual. He's got a big following out there. His nap has gone in. One of his solid spots he gave us on our feature shows yesterday. That was Modern Games. Would you
do it every day, the spotlight thing? Is it day after day?
Oh yeah. If you're in the spotlight team, it's a constant churn out, isn't it? All right, yeah, absolutely. Richard Austin, who of course runs a tight ship. Let's put it that way, does Richard? But it's a good schooling ground, let me tell you. You can learn a thick skin afterwards. Barry, they're going into the stalls then. Is there any queuing up for anything?
Not really, Dave. At the moment, it's 5.8. Fresh is 8. 7 at Fede Lane, which I thought had a bit of a chance as well. 13.5 Boardman. Some money for Alexander James into 12.5. Bernardo O'Reilly on a bit of a slide out to 16.5. Accidental Agent, some money for that into 30.
Oh, Accidental Agent, of course, who has won this year for Hugh Johnson.
I was at
Group 1 winner.
I was at Newmarket when he won, Accidental Agent. He won there on the July course a couple of months ago. It was great to see him win that day, it was, but I don't think he'll be winning this, will he?
We interviewed her on one of the feature shows we did that weekend, and she didn't put us away, but I had to sort of remind her that he was running, and she said, well, he's going all right.
Really?
Great to see him back. Yeah, he won't mind the ground at all.
He's a good horse, isn't he?
It's Group 1 winner. This is the calibre we're at. Group 1 show here for you. It's RP Live, and it's Doncaster, the first couple there today for you, off and running. Where are they going to go? Do you know what? Having called a few of these races, I mean, I love it, they're flat, I do, but I'm going to be glad to see the back of this. But it is Marshall Dan, as we mentioned. On the far side then, going off, who's that going with him? Is that Zip, sorry, I should say, not Zap. Zip, Zap all the way, but it's SDS. He's got one way of going. Looking for Boardman, he's going quite nicely. Tom Frey upside him as well. Accidental Agent, well fancied, he's well there. What's catching your eyes, guys? Posty?
I'm just looking at Fresh. He's slotted in 3/4 of the way through. Yeah, Barry's tip Quizzical is tanking along as well, isn't he?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, in those famous lavery colours, Barry, you've got to be happy with how he's going halfway.
Yeah, he's still a 44 chance now, mind. You just want them in the first 6, really, yeah. But the one in front seems to be the one they're going to have to catch.
I'll tell you what, Barry, absolutely cruising. Boardman's got too much to do. Look out for Busala, the one that I mentioned, flagging up. Have they gone a bit too soon here then?
I'll tell you, Mythical Madness is going well, Dave.
What, the old boy?
Yeah, he's absolutely cruising.
Here
Mythical
comes
Madness.
Fresh. Yeah, Mythical Madness is absolutely cruising. We're looking for Quizzical on the far side. Look at Busala though. Said this was a big prize. Couldn't really work out why. Mythical Madness have given this too much to do, hasn't he? What's this on the near side? Tom Free coming out the pack as well. Dashing Rogers there. Accidental Agency. Come on, Quizzical. Can you get the top 6?
This is Haggis
Come on then. It's the Haggis horse. It's young. What is this on the far side?
Haggis again.
It's Haggis again. Come on, Quizzical. Can you get it? Come on, Quizzical. Get that. Yeah, happy days. Going to be 4th, Barry's pick as well. Busala then, really well fancied for the Air Gold Cup. Didn't make the cut. Didn't show much when it finally came back on. We did flag up beforehand, saying surely this would be better fancied. William Haggis does it again. Barry, that must have been a long final furlong.
Yeah, it was. I thought he was going to get swallowed up, Quizzical, but he's hung on. Well, he's stayed on and finished 4th. He's ran his heart out again. He must be a great horse to own because he gives 100% every time. But your winner, Busada, had a Betfair SP of 25, would you believe? Would traded at a high. He traded short. Once he travelled into the race, he became favoured with about a furlong to go, Dave. But he was matched at a high on the exchange. It was pre-race. wasn't matched any higher than his Betfair SP in running.
Okay, thank you, Barry. Yeah, we saw it behind a horse called On the Warpath at Wolverhampton last December. And again, it was entered in all the big sprints, didn't really turn up. Big price at Ascot's on its return, hardly showed anything. So this is now back on track. It's one of these Haggis horses where even the rags turn themselves to be group horses in handicap. Some operation, isn't it?
Fantastic.
I think Andrew Tinkler would have been doing the work riding on this.
He'll tell me he fancied it. Don't you worry when I speak to him later, yeah? Yeah, he'd say that was always going to win.
Yeah, right, okay, fair enough. Well, look, Tom Marquand, that's 2 then for them. And they got a hot pot in the novice race a little bit later on as well. First of a couple for you coming at Doncaster. Right, we've got to have a little think about going to Wincanton now. Barry's pretty hot at the moment, isn't he? But Barry, I'll tell you what, this has obviously been a bit of a talking point. We're getting political slightly, aren't we? Not a lot Wincanton could have done, Barry. It's been a really dry period over here. Often is in the West Country as well. Likes of Exeter, Wincanton, Huntingdon. It'll take a while to get proper winter ground up here. But 3 runners in the Rising Stars. Bit disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. But Paul Nichols says on his blog on Betfair that they couldn't have done any more with the track Wincanton. He went and walked it yesterday. They put an extreme amount of water on it. But like you say, it's just been so dry this autumn. that no moisture is actually, very little moisture has actually stayed in the ground. So it's just one of those things. It looks like Brave Man's Game may go for the graduation chase on Betfair Chase Day in Haydock Park on the 20th of November. So that's great for us.
Yeah.
Not so great for Wincanton and for this race, but it swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leaves him here with just the three runners, Captain Tomcat, Mick Pastor and Jackamar. Jackamar, you ragged a field at 14. Mick Pastor, 1.65 is 4-6, and 3.05 Captain Tomcat. I'm just going to take a small few quid out of Mick Pastor because there's no doubt he's here because Brave Man's Game isn't running. It was all about the ground. That's why Paul Nicholls entered the 2 in the race, Brave Man's Game and him. I think they may have probably wanted to give him a break and bring him back again in the spring maybe, but just going to take 50 quid out of him, G-Rod, to lose a little over 40. So just going to lay, just to show the functionality of the exchange, going to lay Mick Pastor 1.65, take 40 quid at a backer's stake, and we've the field running first, the other 2.
Interesting, Barry. I think a lot of people would be curious about how you were going to play that. You're right, Mick Pastor would have been very much second string, wouldn't he? He is an interesting horse, this chap. And we're now down to the 3-1ers tactically. I must admit, I thought, well, this probably just wins. And then I had a closer look at him and I reminded myself of Mick Pastor. You remember he came over as a juvenile, didn't he? And had a hefty expectation, never quite met it. But did find his way over hurdles. And then he ran behind Shishkin. Do you remember at the Kempton meeting when Shishkin was so impressive? And I thought to myself, this has got Grand Daniel all over it. It's got the colours, it's got the trainer, it's got the ability. And again, he must have had some problems. It's obviously back on track. He arrives on a 5-timer. But Poste's been bossing small fields over shorter. Is he going to be too fizzy early on?
Well, it's an interesting question, isn't it? I mean, and that I suppose, if you're looking at what Barry's done, is your sort of play, isn't it? That's 3-runner field. There's not going to be loads of cover. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how he's going to ride him, whether he just lets him lob along in front. I mean, you'd imagine if you're on Captain Tomcat, you're probably not going to give him an easy time of it, are you? I mean, Captain Tomcat at one stage was looking fairly progressive through the summer. Again, winning small field novice chases. Ran well in the big handicap chase at Market Raisin. Nothing wrong with that, but was a bit lacklustre behind T Clipper in a decent race at Chepstow a couple of weekends ago. As a spectacle and informative, it's lost all of it, hasn't it? Really,
it's been won by some worldies this G, hasn't it? Silvianico Conti, etc. You know, so this is a proper springboard over the years, isn't it? Obviously, losing Brave Man's Game, disappointing. But you know, long season there was probably even money whether you turned up or not. You know, so we now have got Mick Pastor. Can Captain Tomcat? I think he can have a say. I think tactics might be interesting here. I think they will try and draw the string out. He's not a bad horse, you know, Captain Tomcat. When he won at Worcester, he looked like a horse that might just move out of the summer into the winter game. And he's got his ground. I thought if there was ever going to be a day that he got a grade 2, it would be this. So rather than going, you know, with the doubts, when you're going in with something at a short price, G, you want every box ticked pretty much, don't you? The distance for a horse that wears a hood and can be keen in a small field, like Mick Pastor, no way for me. So I'm on the Tomcat.
Yeah, I'll be dead against the Fav. Yeah, I'll be against him. Unless the sectionals are wrong, this all finished ridiculously slowly at Exeter last time, like ridiculously slowly. Now, the race was reduced badly by fog. You know,
Do any horses finish fast at Exeter?
No, of course, it was a very, very stiff uphill finish. But I mean, 80-odd%, you know, was his finishing speed percentage, you know, which is just absolutely unheard of. Now, no, it's a stiff uphill finish, but there was only 2 runners in the race, and they can't have gone a mad pace. I just suspect maybe there's something fishy about those because of the fog, maybe, you know, that's not exactly right. But if it is to be believed, then Mick Pastor isn't any good. So we'll wait and see on that. Captain Tomcat, yeah, I mean, he's a solid horse, but he's not a grade 2 horse, but neither is Jackamar. But I just think that if I was going to bet, I would definitely bet Jackamar, you know, definitely.
Well, he won, the last time he won, you remember we actually covered it on this show. It was the Pretemps final where he beat the decent Nicholls horse. Southfield Harvest. You know, so the ability's there, isn't it? On official figures, he's got it all to find, isn't he? 130, but we know he's slightly better than that over. Milton Harris has had some time, hasn't he?
He's flying at the moment. Yeah, he's having loads of winners. So
I just have a thing like I know it's an old thing, but I think the outside of 3 in these races is always a fair bet.
You channeling the late John McCrick there,
is that a thing?
Do you know what? James Pyman, years ago,
I remember this,
ran the stats out on the outsider of 3 theory and found if you backed the every outsider of 3, you'd win.
McCrick was right.
Yeah, well, how can you believe that?
Who knew?
But it's true, apparently.
Unlike your chestnut and grey jumpers thing, that was one that actually was born.
But then I started thinking, well, why? Well, why is that happening?
Why then?
Well, possibly my possible solutions for why the outside of free might be a good system is the races are obviously funny run. There's only 3 horses in them. A lot of the time they're very, very tactical. They don't go very fast. So then the horses with the greater ability at the top of the market aren't able to separate themselves from the complete outsider in the same way they would be if there was a really strong pace on. That was one. My other theory was also possibly, usually in a free runner race, if you've got 2 fancied horses and then 1 outsider, the 2 fancied horses just think they've got to beat each other. Like here, Harry Cobden will ride this race to beat Captain Tomcat and Charlie Hammond will ride this race to beat Mick Poste. They won't worry about Jacamar, and then that Jacamar might be able to pounce late. There's possible reasons why this outsider free system might work.
Because it did get knocked with a stick, but you're suggesting that the assistant betting editor of the Racing Post just thinks that there are some strange things that happen in racing.
Well, there's no doubt there are strange things
you have
that
looked
happen in
into
racing.
it. This is like the Bermuda Triangle. You've had a look in and you've made sense of it.
Well, it's like I wrote this in the responsible gambling piece that I wrote in the paper today. You know, there's no such
You wrote
thing.
every piece in the paper today.
Well, thanks for that, Barry.
Today. Every page I turned was another G-Rod analysis. And then I opened Gambling Week piece and you wrote that as well. I hope they paid you double this weekend, G-Rod.
It's fair to say there's a bit of annual leave at the Post at the moment, and G-Rod is being spread across like butter. You listen, it's the RP Live, your stock is going up, man.
Yeah, I actually wrote that responsible gambling piece a long time ago, but they liked it so much they waited for a Saturday to put it in, which was very
so you basically went,
flattering.
I've actually got something for
Very
us, lads.
flattering, you know. But no, I mean, I wrote in there, you know, that Kevin Pauline, the great Racing Post sport tipster,
Yeah.
or you know, as once wrote, you know, there is no such thing as certainties in racing, just probabilities, and it's the same with these weird little races. Yes, it's not likely that Jacamar wins, but there's every chance he could because there's weird things happen in these sorts of 3-runner races.
Voodoo hoodoos are about.
There is, I tell you.
All right, so listen, but what I'm saying it's not the strangest thing in the world. He's of course winning.
You must have ridden in a 3-runner race before, Post.
I've got absolutely no chance.
Yeah, but I mean, I just thinking about, though we had that whole conversation, I don't know if we learnt anything new, really. You know, we literally did the old, it's a game of 2 halves. With
What's the betting?
match.
It's in the paper next Friday, yeah? If he's got to come up with something, it's going to be
Do you know what I'm
it.
looking for? I want the theory about the chestnut and greys jumping.
I tell you,
that's the piece I'm looking
while
forward to.
we're here, I'm going to run it out now. I've got some software and I'm going to run out the chestnut grey, see which ones fall the most.
Can plug Racer Interactive, you know. It's one of our products.
I'd say there's a whole angle from a sales point of view here. You're never going to buy, what is it, a chestnut?
No, chestnuts are great. It's called greys, wasn't it?
Oh, the greys.
This could be a team up, couldn't it, between
Yeah.
you? If you're ever
I'll
struggling
tell
to
you
sell
in
a
a minute.
pointer, get the man
Well, I'm
with the
thinking
theories
when we
down.
buy them, he's going to be the man to do the
Let me get the
background
assistant
analysis.
betting editor of the
Absolutely.
Racing Post to explain to you why you need to buy this horse that's got 3 duck eggs
Greys
next to
fall.
his name. Yeah.
And chestnuts don't.
Well, Chestnut seemingly did come out on top, which was
Yeah.
much to his chagrin. I think we had John Hales on, didn't we, before Politolog won the Tingle Creek, and he flattered John by saying, "Don't graze, just we all agreed," but seemingly
John
the numbers
agreed.
were totally
Yeah.
different.
John agreed, didn't he?
did,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Listen.
So Captain Tomcat's going to make the run in here, and Mick Poste is going to follow.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? You'd think so. And Jacamar, we should say about Jacamar, Harry Reba's due to run. He's had a fall. He's a little bit concussed, apparently, Harry, as I'm hearing from James Stevens, our man on the track at Wincanton, but he's okay, says Neil Mulholland. And Tom Bellamy, therefore, gets in the saddle on Jacamar. Good man to have on your side anyway. So, Harry, hope you get over that shortly. Tumbles and spills and thrills, isn't it? Of course, on the jumps going as tough as you like, these chaps. All right, okay, so what are we? Around about 8 minutes away. We've got some social interaction that can come up. You see Mick Poste is the spotlight tip out there playing it simple. And Chris Timms comes back on. No good with Tom, afraid, Chris. But Nappy's Mossbourne in the last at Doncaster. Okay. Essential Quality wins the Breeders' Cup Classic. Cheers, Chris. Absolutely worth staying up, isn't it? It's great. It's a great, I don't know, I'm going to a Breeders' Cup party later on. I missed it last year.
Breeders' Cup party.
Yeah, we get a few beers out. Actually, the host is doing gets all American food and things like that, and will there be some fireworks in the background? Will it be bonfire weekend here? And
By American food, what do you get?
well, hot dogs, you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know, like nachos, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We haven't done it for a little while. You know, people have NFL parties, Super Bowl
Yeah.
parties. We used to do it with at the Breeders' Cup. I'm going to one of them later on, and yeah, it'd be great. We'll just do a little sweep and all that sort of stuff.
I went to the game at the White Hart Lane, by the new stadium.
At the NFL,
The
supporting
Jaguars
Postman.
Dolphins. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I didn't have you down as an NFL.
Yeah, I
fan.
don't mind watching it. Yeah.
I don't know. I just sort of, I don't know. You need a good beer and a hot dog there, don't you, to get through it? It's
Or 5 beers or so.
5, yeah, right. In Postage. NFL fan?
Love NFL, yeah. like the Breeders' Cup. Used to love doing a Breeders' Cup party. Not doing one this year, but...
Is this a good moment for you to take the Tom Collins role and tell us what wins at the Breeders' Cup? Because you have got one, haven't you? Your brother's out there at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah.
Doing some filming work out there.
He's out there, and his info is notoriously good, actually.
Mishriff?
Yeah, Mishriff and plenty of winners down the years when he's been out there doing the morning workouts. He sent me a couple for tonight. One is Clariere, who runs in the distaff. He said she looks really, really good in the morning workouts, and Steve Asmussen likes her. And the other one was called Essential Quality, who runs in the Classic at 12:40 a.m.
You're with Chris then? Absolutely. That's the grey Chris, isn't it? I've seen him stretch out as well. Let's get some more in before we go and get Barry's thoughts on the Breeders' Cup. Mally Draycott, my nap of the day. Dark Jedi in the November handicap. Mally trying to knock it out the park. Dark Jedi again. Got some solid handicap form, hasn't he? Okay, think you like the ground, Mally. Good to have you saying the nat. Any more out there? That's that. All right, that's great. Breeders' Cup, let's have it in. Barry, where do you sit with the Breeders' Cup?
In what respect?
Well, do you love it? Is it something that you'll try and work the format in, or you get on your American, sort of like, I don't know, hat on? Or
I wouldn't take a strong opinion on it because I wouldn't be able to tie you in American form. I've been to it. I was at it about 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago in Santa Anita. It's a great event, but I'd prefer to go to Turles or one of those glamorous tracks like
you
that.
You found yourself down at Venice Beach instead, did you, during the day?
No, I wasn't at Venice Beach anyway. But no, honest to God, Dave, I think if you took Aidan O'Brien out of it and a couple of this year round, obviously the likes of Charlie Appy and that, I don't think it'd have any interest over here at all. But very little interest, let's say. But where it is in the calendar as well is difficult. Obviously, we're all focusing on the national hunt now, and they're having the World Championships of horse racing. So.
Yes.
It's a bit of a strange one.
Quite a lot been said about the strength of the European team that's gone over as well. No real worldies there. I suppose Love is as high profile horse as you're going to get. Barry, I am hearing some strong vibes for Erdo from Ballydoyle. Apparently she's ready to show her what her true colours again later on in the filly and mares. You heard anything there?
For Love, yeah. Ryan gives her a really positive shout. She's apparently. She seems to have come to hand really well over there. She's travelled well. She didn't lose much weight, and she's really thrived the last couple of days. So they seem to be very keen on her. She's currently 3-1 at the moment, and I can see that probably coming under pressure. There's a few European winners prior to her.
3-1 on the sportsbook.
Yeah, I think the last time I looked, 3-1, with Love Only You. So, yeah.
Hello.
3-2 to the two of them at the top of the market.
Well, I was hearing yesterday that Ryan had been very strong on it. Let's put it that way. He did ride a winner in the table colours last night, Astronomer, before we saw the main action.
Yeah.
That was a really good ride, actually.
It was a good ride.
He rode Armour as well, didn't he? In turf sprint, just didn't. Go Bears, go! Ran a beauty, didn't he? See that second? I don't know if I was named. That was in the Wes race. Of course, Wes now winning that again. Twilight Gleaming, who we saw at Royal Ascot. She'll come back now for the King's Stand, etc. And July Cup and stuff.
Ross Ryan felt looking at Johnny Velasquez riding Go Bears Go. Obviously, the owner has decided that Velasquez is going to ride all his horses at the meeting, but it must be a bitter pill to swallow for young Russell Ryan, who's served him so well over here.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the stars. He had that injury, didn't he, that kept him out of Royal Ascot this year, and Russell will be absolutely. He's a great young pilot.
Oh, really good young rider, yeah, and like Barry says, him galling, but you'd imagine there's even bigger days ahead for him, you know what I mean?
Great to see that 2-year-old form coming to the fore, because of course Twilight Gleaming beaten at Royal Ascot. Go Bears Go, a Group 2 winner over here for the Loughnane, so we can go over the backyard, put it up there. That's the Breeders' Cup. If you've got any more there, what wins the mile? Space Blues, you with him? What about the turf? Does Tanawa go and give World another Breeders' Cup turf as well? All coming your way this evening. Great stuff. You can watch it all over the place and play it well. Your brother likes Essential Quality in
the Classic, and Clariere in the 11 o'clock the distaff.
And he's the guy that gave us Mishriff in the Saudi Cup, of course. Kevin Rodway, G's brother. All right, okay, shall we get back to Wincanton? We've got a couple of minutes now to the race. Thanks for those naps coming in. Keep them coming. Live and interactive, of course. A reminder, the survey we've got out there. Go and get involved. You can win a £50 Amazon voucher. Put up by ourselves on Betfair, of course. It's unrivaled coverage we're giving you every Saturday, and the big festivals as well. We want to hear. Doesn't take long to compete. Get it all signed, all that. 3 winners at random. Of course, we won't use your details rather than contacting you as well if you are the winner. Where's the social? We've got another one coming up.
Yes,
Paul
Paul.
Bakewell comes on. Oh, go on, G,
Yes,
take it
Paul.
away.
He says Jackamar only £7 inferior to Mick Pastor over hurdles. Definitely gets the distance. Mick Pastor is not proven over the trip.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got 3 runner race, but we're fascinated.
Chance now.
What price?
He's nearly even money, 197. Mick Pastor now. So we could cash out of our bet for a profit of £8, but they're back in the 2 against him. Captain Tomcat into 264, and Jackamar is 8.6 now from 14.
Paul Bakewell buying into G's subscription. The outsider of the 3. Well, this was Kashari can go and win the Potemps, and then Jackamar can go and do this. And Milton Harris has been going, Paul, great to have you back on. Come on, let us know. Get involved like the other guys that are doing it. Let's hear from you out there in Racing Post Live world. Whether you're playing on sports, we've got a Betfair Exchange. There's something out there for you today. Safe gambling week, of course. Don't have to pay in every race. Raucous reaction. We'll give you the best Racing Post analysis in the business right here. Free premium content as well. The winter, it is a-coming, but we still have some flat fun to come your way. In fact, we'll be going back up to Donny after this. 3 runners, rising stars. We're not going to see anything graded Cheltenham Festival winner here, are we? This has tended to go to a marsh horse in recent years. I don't know, Mick Pastor. If Brave Man's Game had been running and Mick Pastor was here, you'd be saying, slightly easier ground. You'd be saying, what's he doing? Is he experimenting with the trip here? Marker 147 for Mick Pastor. If they haven't got a handicap,
No.
Go on.
I don't think he'd have ran.
Oh, you think he'd have pulled him?
I don't think he'd have ran. Yeah, I think that was just his free bet with the ground the way it was looking.
It's just interesting with the trip, isn't it? He does look an out-and-out 2-miler, so we're going to find out about him here. They're about to line up. And Poste, you look like you might be right. The Tomcat is up front.
Tomcat's going to take them along, Charlie Hammond, and Harry Cobden and Mick Pastor are going to stalk them through. Jackamar Chase debut is going to last of 3, and maybe the outsider of 3 will win this race.
Off we go. Charlie Hammond up front. What do you know about Charlie Hammond?
Good, intelligent rider, as in knows his stuff. He's a big part of Doc Newland's team. He'd be there every day, and he'd be a massive cog in that operation.
That's the Dr. Richard we call him, but you're Doc, are you?
Yeah, well,
You're on Doc terms with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's some operator.
Mick Pastor is keen now.
Now this was the worry if you're on Mick Pastor. What price has he gone then, Barry, after a couple of fences?
He's gone into 192 from 198, would you believe? So he's come in 4 ticks off the back of that. He's jumping well. They're all travelling well. I don't think there's any. He seems settled okay, does he?
It's the birthday weekend for Harry Cobden as well. He's just, again, absolute top operator, champion jockey in waiting, isn't he? And Jackamar then, the outsider of 3G, just observing from rear. But I like the way he jumped that. Yeah,
he's doing exactly what I said a lot of outsider of 3s are ridden. He let the first 2 go and race each other and try and pick them up late. We'll see if it comes off.
I would suggest that Connections were probably in the pre-parade with their mobile on, listening to you on RP Live. And they said, hang on, Jesus just said you've got to ride him cold. And we'll pick up the pieces.
I'm absolutely certain that's what happened.
Absolutely. All right. Good luck to the Connections, of course.
Harry Reid on the course, Jack.
No, he's had a fall, hasn't he?
Tom Bellamy.
Good to know you're awake when I was mentioning that. Yeah, he's had a slight fall. He's gone. He's just with a concussion. Okay. We think he's all right. Tom Bellamy is taking over. So he's a good man to have. His Iron King loves him, doesn't he?
Oh, serious rider. Yeah,
serious rider.
First season, a new job as stable jockey to Emma Lavelle, but very, very good rider.
Yes, of course. Absolutely. What did you make of Paisley Park last weekend? I wasn't in for that. Blinkers, they're talking about him now, aren't they? But Captain Tomcat is fizzing away.
I'll tell you, no, that was a cracking run. That was. Brilliant run.
I'd have thought on heavy ground, the long work hurdle is still a chance for something like that.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, super
We've got Time Hill running in France today as well, haven't we? That's not been yet, is it? I don't think. No, we'll keep an eye on that.
I can't see Paisley Park winning another stayers hurdle, but you could see him winning a long walk or something like that, where stamina is an absolute premium.
They've been teasing the fact that at some point he might go fencing because he jumps well. I said that to Paul Keeley yesterday. Paul Keeley went, "That's rubbish. He doesn't jump well. He'd have been chasing by now." But I don't know. It's very difficult. If you win a stayers hurdle, you tend to go for another crown, don't you?
Jackamar has reached at that slightly last of the circuit to go, and Mick Pastor, they're all sort of shifting slightly left as well over their fences at the moment.
He's not drifted right out though, has he, Jackamar, Barry? He's still pretty short.
Well, he's out to 10 from 7.6. Mick Pastor's hardening up all the time. The one in front, Captain Tomcat, jumping very sketchy. He's got in close to a few. He's out to 3.5, so he's 5-2. 6-4 on, or 13-8 on now, Mick Pastor, and 8-1 Jackamar.
So if you've got involved in the drift on the Mick Pastor, bidding to give Paul Nicholls a 6th winner in this race since 2011, you're feeling good. Yeah, he's settled well, posing. You want to lead basically on this horse, don't you?
Who's settled well?
Mick Pastor.
Do you think so?
Well, he's not throwing his head around like a nutter, is he? Like against Shishkin,
I think he's chewy enough on the bridle.
Oh, disagreement.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that there's plenty of negatives to all of them, to be honest. Like Barry said, Captain Tomcat hasn't found great rhythm. Jackamar's up to a bit novice-y, and Mick Pastor up in trip has been keen enough for me.
So if you're Charlie Hammond now, again a bit sketchy on that, on Captain Tomcat, you know he's breathing down your neck, don't you?
Yeah.
We go on the far side. Wincanton as well, Poste, is not a track that you really want to get too far behind. We've got the Badger Rails coming up at 3 o'clock. Usually you want to be sitting sort of what we call box seaty, don't you? Fifth or sixth.
Yeah, it's a sharp track, especially on this good
It's
ground.
the fourth last, isn't it? Which tends to get them real revving up.
The cross fence before they turn in, yeah. I mean, it's still a long way out. They do get racing a long way out here as well. Though. I mean, it used to be a brilliant track, big fences, and they've gone to these portable jobs now, and it's not like an old man. It's not like it used to be.
Ah, there we go. First one in. That's why you're not riding anymore, Posty. All right, okay, so Captain Tomcat, he's revving up then. Mick Passer's still sitting pretty, isn't he? I'll tell you what, are you getting involved in running it? You're tapping away.
No, I'm trying to get these stats out. I've literally just got to graze now.
Luckily, there's no greys or chestnuts
There's no
in
greys
here.
or chestnuts.
Not only is he writing every page in the paper, he's also multitasking with our stats as well this afternoon, the great G-Roll. Great to have him in. Right, now we're revving up. Barry, what's it saying?
Mick Pastor still your favourite at 163, 2-1 now, Captain Tomcat, and 8-1 Jackamar, but 6-4 on, or 2-5 Mick Pastor now. It looks like all he has to do is push the button.
Yeah, it absolutely does. But we don't know about the stamina. This is all over, isn't it? What price is he going? He must be going very low.
What's he going to find?
I don't know. The Tomcat's going for it still, isn't he? I think the outside of the three is definitely finding this a bit sharp. Oh, he's flown that.
Flew that.
6-1 on.
Could Jackamar possibly get involved? No, he's gone out, hasn't he?
5.
Come on then.
This could be a buckle.
I'll tell you what.
This could be a buckle.
He doesn't like it up in Mick Pastor. They jump the last together then. It's all about a sprint. Will the Fav just get it over? Tomcat on the inside, showing absolutely Charlie Hammond's got this. He's outstayed him.
Too keen.
Tomcat has pounced. Mick pounced. Mick was pounced on by the Tomcat. He's been sunk. I got it out somewhere on the line.
Yeah, I like it that he had a couple of goes at it, but that was good.
I did. That was drama, wasn't it? Listen, he went low in running. We'll go to Barry in a second.
2,751 quid traded at 1 to 6, 1.16. All sorts of prices down to that. 41 quid even at 2.13 on Mick Pastor. It looked like all he had to do was go by him, but he just couldn't get by Captain Tomcat. I think Posty called it right. He seemed to pay for it later on, just not settling 100%. He was a bit keen. 2 quid match at 10.5 on Captain Tomcat, 26 quid at 10, and had a Betfair SP of 2.9 or 2.6 Captain Tomcat, or had a Betfair SP of 2.69 Captain Tomcat. So yeah, all the fun and trails have been running, and thankfully we get Mick Pastor beat for the charity.
Everyone moaning about the fact we only got 3 runners in the Rising Stars. Probably one of the most exciting races of the day.
Yeah, and a big day for Charlie Hammond as well. Like Grade 2 winner, like things.
Intelligent rider, you called him, didn't you? And
Yeah,
he did get him just at it a
I
little
just thought he got. Look, it's a 3-runner race, and he made the running. So but I actually thought he got it spot on. You know, he went a nice enough gallop, but not too quick that Mick Pastor was going to settle easily. And then he's tried to stretch him off the turn, hasn't he? And he's taken the sting out of the.
Now, this is interesting
favourite.
for me. This is like a personal, it's a lesson here for me. Now, I'm what you would call a senior analyst at the Racing Post. I'll get that in for G's reference. He loves it when I say that. Senior analyst at the Racing Post. I would be writing that he's been outstayed, and I think he lacked a little bit of resolution there. You would be saying to me he's too keen, would you?
Well, I just think he was too keen early, but then that adds to the fact that he doesn't stay, does he?
He has been outstayed. There's no question of that. But he didn't look that.
I think if you watch back and you look at Harry Cobden's foot position in his iron, like his heel is like wedged down, showing that he's bracing his lower leg against the horse that's like trying to go quicker than he wants him to do, and he's having to work very hard. I think Harry Cobden did an incredibly good job of making that horse look more manageable than actually he is. Like, as in, he doesn't make life easy.
Should have probably cried enough 2 out then if it wasn't for Harry.
I think so, yeah I really do.
Interesting.
And like you say, I do think that the horse does lack resolution, but you'd wonder if there's something else going on, whether it's wind, do you know whether there's something that makes him the way he is.
You'd like to get Paul Carberry back in the saddle at Grand Daniel at Cheltenham, wouldn't you?
What's he called? Began with a B, Bella.
I can't remember. I do know the one where he slid through the pack.
Yeah, swinging down the hill in Nicky Henderson's horse. Bellado.
Was it
Bellado?
Bellado?
No, Bellado. That was a flat horse. No.
What was the horse? I can't remember. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We've got to go to Donny, believe it or not. We're going back to the flat. We're jumping, at Aintree and Wincanton. 2 more coming away at Wincanton. We've got the Badger Owls, of course, at 3 o'clock, isn't it? And we've got three more coming because we've got the Mayor's Final, haven't we, as well?
Yeah.
Or the Mayor's, so we really fancy one in that as well. And we've got the Elite Hurdle. Goshen coming out. Oh my gosh, and what's he going to produce on that ground today? Lots of money for some Irish horses in that. And of course, So Royale as well. Really cannot wait for that. There'll be a final race. We've got the November handicap coming your way. We're starting to get the chat firing up. We're having some fun now along the way. G's crunching all the numbers, but we've got a listed sprint to go to Doncaster. Let's get the market up. There is that Betfair SB, replaced by the 205 at Doncaster. Some right old characters in here, Barry Orr. Kings Lynn, we've had some fun with him this year.
Yeah, we're really familiar with these, aren't we? We've been seeing them all season. Kings Lynn, your market leader at 6.2. Aim 4, Magical Spirit. Ansdale is 8.888. BL said Dakota Gold 9.4. 8.2. Tarhib, some money for that as well. That's been relatively strong. But I like Dakota Gold in it, Dave. It's one of my lucky 15 selections as well. Ran a cracker last day where it was just a pile-on of pace in Doncaster. Finished 3 1/4 lengths behind Copper Knight. Hasn't won a race since he won this race last year when he was rated 111. He's 103 now. So obviously his mark has come down as a reflection of not having won a race. But having said that, he's been running well, and this is his time of year. And I think he's got conditions to suit as well this time round. So Dakota Gold, we're just going to have a 25 quid win at 9. Please, G-Rod, and we're going to back him in the place market, standard place terms here of 3 places. We're going to have 25 quid on him in the place market as well. The only real poor race he's ran this year was when he was beaten 7 3/4 lengths by Winter Power in York. So, and that was a Group 1, obviously, the Nunthorpe. So you couldn't even consider that a bad run as such. But like I said, it's very important that autumnal weather, this is his time of year, 6 furlongs, this is his track. I think he'll run a really big race.
Brilliant. And again, this is the first ring your bell. It's your horse. That is Barry's horse, Dakota Gold, as we well know, all our regulars. Thinks this will be the time to strike, get involved with Michael Dodd's runner. You've got plenty of time. Steve McGowan comes on and says 205, Doncaster, Ainsdale, Nap. My turn to step into the plate then in that case, because I'm with you, Stephen, one of my more hopeful picks of the day, let's put it that way. And this is one, Stephen, isn't it, where if you know your horses and you know your form, if you're sort of like walking into a betting shop today and you think, let's have a little bet, what am I going to pick? Fun bet in the 205. And this is not form figure-wise what you would be picking. It doesn't look that obvious. But if you looked at his run at Ascot last time, it was covered on this show, I kept saying, there's Ainsdale. They're sticking on the blinkers. Carl Burke is at the track. Clifford Leon, he's going to get some pace around him from stall 5. I like him a lot in this as well. One of my plays today, Ainsdale. He can show his true colours and get back on the winning score. Posty, what wins the 205?
I don't know what wins it, but I mean, my fancy, I quite like Volatile Analyst. I was on the show, as we discussed, when he got a tight decision at York over 6. First time Hood on that day. Seemed to bring about a bit of improvement from a horse that looked a bit tricky in the past. He hasn't had a lot of goes on soft ground either. And, that seemed the Hood, slow ground. And I just think, he could be a horse with a bit more to offer with this Hood that's been retained for this run.
All right, again, informed sprinter Keith Dalglish would have, eyed this up. They could have rested him, couldn't they? I guess it's whether the headgear works again, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is, yeah.
That's what you're punting, basically. Tricky race then, says Posty, but the Volatile Analyst, who could that possibly be? I don't know. Running, of course, in the Wentworth Stakes, as we call it. Won by some real fun horses over the years for Connections G. Is this a tip race?
Yeah. I've had a bet in this race, actually, as well. Backed it. Yuska, at quite a good price, about 14, 16 to 1 at the moment. I think that this might just be his race.
Henry Candy's horse.
Yeah, now, we spoke earlier about trainers who are in form at this time of year and having their horses right at such a late stage of season. Henry Candy definitely comes into that category. He's had 2 winners from his last 8 runners. Rob Hornby's taking over on Yuska. Drop him back in trip, which I don't think will be a problem because the ground's testing. He acts on testing ground. He won a listed race last October towards the back end. So I just thought there was a lot to like about Yuska. The other 2 that I thought had chances were, of course, the favourite, Kings Lynn, who we've mentioned a million times this season.
He's had a long old season, Kings Lynn.
No doubt about it. I mean, if he's got a huge chance of winning. He's really well handicapped on his Group 1 form, of course. And do
you think he gets bashed a bit unnecessarily? You ever been to Kings Lynn?
Yes, I do, yeah.
You ever been to Kings
No,
Lynn?
but
Your brother's
yeah.
neck of the woods, isn't it?
Yeah, I suspect I might.
Yeah, well, it is Sandringham. It's where, it's one of Her Majesty's properties, isn't it? And Kings Lynn is the sort of surrounding area up in Norfolk.
Wasn't sure about the draw with him, though. Strawny out in stall 1, right on the far side.
Not good.
Wouldn't say that's particularly good for a horse like Kings Lynn, who needs cover.
He always seems to be favourite Kings Lynn, Barry, doesn't he? Wherever he goes, he's got this legion of fans that still believe.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose off the back of his couple of decent runs in Royal Ascot, weren't they? And didn't he win won the accolades as well?
Yeah.
The accolades
Yes.
in Haydock would have been given the ground that day. I think I laid it that day. But yeah, he's there. He shows up to every race. Like they're great old warriors. These horses, you love seeing them year in, year out. They give us so much pleasure, don't they? And I suppose this is a swan song for a lot of them before they maybe go off to other places. Some of them might even be thinking of a trip to Dubai, maybe for the carnival out there for some of the better quality ones.
Yeah, that's interesting. Absolutely. Yeah, I saw some Maidan action the other day. I thought, we're not there already. Oh, come on, boys, give us a chance. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some will be lying up. Magical Spirit, I guess if you're with Kings Lynn, you're hoping that Magical Spirit came good again last time for the Ryans. Big night for the Ryan team, of course. Yeah. Glass Slippers and...
Yeah, she won't be winning that, Dave.
Maratiana.
She won't win that, Glass Slippers.
What?
She got no chance winning that.
What do you mean?
She's in the turf sprint, and she tonight.
Yeah, she won it last year.
Yeah, but that was over 5.5 furlongs around Keeneland. I mean,
she does look like she wants a proper 5 now.
She wants a proper 5. I mean, that Del Mar 5 furlongs.
They got the Sprint Cup winner running as well, haven't they? Maratiana.
Very short straight.
Great.
Golden Powell's going to go off 1,000,000 miles an hour to the turn. I think she'll be tailed coming into the straight and struggle to get
Glass
into
Slippers cannot win. This is on. This is live.
Yeah. I said last time Adam Ryan was in, I like Glass Slippers, but that's not a race.
What about the only compliments you've ever given Adam Ryan? I can tell you, that's for sure.
He loves me, Adam does.
Yeah.
He does, absolutely. A friend of the show, they're out there. It was, of course, Glass Slippers won when no one could go out. The travel restrictions last year. I think they've got a nice family representation out there. We wish them the best.
Yeah,
I believe in the Slippers.
Time, why not? I mean,
I still believe. I'm backing her tonight.
It.
I think she's got a right old chance. I think they'll go hammer and tongs up front. Golden Power will go too quick again, like he did in London, and she will come over the top under Tom Ease.
Well,
all over it.
We'll see.
Yeah, well, exactly. There you go. Can't win, will win. So one of those. That's got my backup.
Worth mentioning Bielsa, of course, for the Ryans.
Yes.
I thought that was handicapped to win the race, but the problem is he obviously has had his big day of the year, hasn't he, Bielsa? He won the Air Gold Cup, and I often think with these sprinters, they all take a bit of a turn.
Yeah. At Ascot last time, it looked like he had a hard race, didn't it?
Just chucking Tahib into the mix, official rating of 83.
Yeah.
Why is this horse running?
Rated 83 for William Aggis. Already had 2 winners on the card. Got a hot pot to come later on. Jim Crowley, Hamdan, she could be we should go for the black type, I guess, but 83 you could win up, and he loves to get the handicap sequence.
He's such an intelligent trainer, isn't it?
One on the all-weather could go for the finals this year. It is a very interesting play, Posty. I'll give you that much. Right, good luck wherever you are playing in the Wentworth Stakes. We're watching them go in now. What have we got? Another race. A very famous race coming up at Doncaster, of course, at 2:40. We've got the Sefton coming up in a couple of minutes, soaring over those national fences. But for now, it is the Wentworth. Good luck. Let's see how to go to goal gets on for Barry, and away we play. And Tarib, the unexposed Tarib, one of 2 coming near side. Punch bowl flyer, lovable punch bowl flyer. He's getting on with it. Zat Zargan, I recognise those colours.
Mine's almost full. He has fallen.
Oh no! Jesus, gone. Was that Yuska?
Yuska's gone.
Rob Hornbeef cannoned into the turf. Let's hope Rob's all right. Yeah. Looks like the saddle went, but G's out of it. Dakota Goldo tanking along up front. And what you want to see, Barry, or after 2 furlongs, no pace pressure.
Yeah, you do. My battery's gone on my laptop here, lads. Talk among yourselves.
I thought he was loving the fact that G's selection had gone. Let's hope Rob Hornbeef's all right, of course. All right, we'll go to Barry after the race.
He's flying along anyway.
Volatile analyst is coming. Where's Ainsdale? Come on, Ainsdale. This is my first play of the day. Here we go then. Ainsdale's going to need some luck. Dakota Goldo there. Kings Lynn pressuring him. Magical Spirit there as well. Mole's Memory on the far side. Ainsdale all too late in the day. What on earth is going on there? But it's come on. Dakota Gold falling in the hole.
Be one for the Ryans.
Can't possibly be.
Not Kings Lynn.
Could it? We all knocked him with a stick.
No,
could it be Magical Spirit over the top? Who's going down? It's Kings Lynn. If you kept the faith, it's a beautiful place to visit on holiday. Is Kings Lynn, and he's absolutely nutted him.
Yuska just beat him on the line.
Oh, Yuska, okay, fine.
Loose horse beats them all.
Yeah.
Absolute unbelievable scenes for the first time here on the Racing Post Live Studios this afternoon.
He's just passing the line in front.
Minus Rob Hornby. In all seriousness, let's hope Rob's all right. It looked like the saddle slipped or something like that. It primed, wasn't the sheep, for a big run. It was a 2-horse race from a long way out. Barry, your laptop died. G's horse went down in running. Mine fell in the hole. So did Dakota. Absolute madness. Pandemonium, Barry.
Yeah, Magical Spirit hit a low 1.5 in running. Has that won the race?
No.
Kings Lynn.
Kings Lynn is definitely up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Kings Lynn. High of 7.2.
Wow. Is that
Kings
right?
Lynn out battling the magical
Spirit.
You couldn't make it
And
up.
I think if the Ryans are watching this, I think you're the jinxing it. You put a downer on the team, and in fairness, he's run an absolute blinder. They went off some lick there, Posty, didn't they? Let's have a look at what's happened there.
Heels.
Rob Hornby, was it clip heels?
Yeah.
But
Rob Hornby
he
up
did
and
walk
fine.
off the track for anyone that hasn't seen
he's
Rob
fine,
Hornby.
yeah.
He walks off the track with the doctor, which is good to see.
Breaking news: Goshen out of the elite hurdle. I am hearing as well. Matt Rennie is breaking that for us on the live news desk chat that I'm involved in. No Goshen, too quick for him. Then we'll see him another day. We did. When we were saying yesterday between ourselves in the office, if Brainman's game doesn't go, will Goshen go? They think he wants soft ground, has one on good ground, of course. Oh, so Royale. Penalty kick then, I guess, for him now.
Well, this is starting to turn into one of those days that I always complain about, isn't it, Dave? You know, you switch on the TV in the morning, you go, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see today's racing. Brave Man's game, we're going to see horses like Goshen, and then you switch it on and Brave Man's game's not running, you end up with a free-runner race.
This really started with
Goshen
Trusham with you
turn.
this year, didn't it? You got this thing about why aren't they running Trusham more? And I interviewed Alan King not long after I'd had this tirade. You really had the bear was poked. You had been poked about it, hadn't you? And I said to Alan, Kingy, for those people who think you should run him on good ground, what do you say to him? He goes, well, I would run him on good ground, he said. And he actually bit back at me a little bit. And that's because of you. I sort of blame you for that. You put that into me. And he just said, if you went to Royal Ascot when we pulled him out, the ground isn't right.
So,
People always...
but how does he know?
Well, these official game descriptions aren't always what connections believe them to be, are they? That's something we should say.
How does Alan King know that Trusham doesn't go on fast ground?
I don't know.
How does he know?
It's got to be so physical, isn't it? Or maybe he's not his best on it.
He's never run on it. He's never run on
There must be a physical reason for that, mustn't there? There must be,
Well, he might have had training problems. We don't know, somewhere along the line. He might be looking after
He
him
would
for some
run him
reason.
on good ground, he said. King, he was quite
Yeah.
right. Listen, he then went out and won it, on Champions Day as well,
No, I mean,
Serious animal.
As I've always said to Bruce, Bruce used to say this to me, well, what's the view on it? Give us a view on it. I always used to say, well, really, it is up to them. They train it, their horse. But I'm a racing fan and I want to see horses race each other.
So you think Goshen should have run today?
Well, I would have liked to have seen him run, obviously, but I don't want, if they feel that it's a welfare issue and he's not going to be right on the ground, then fair enough, make the call. But I'm obviously massively
You think
disappointed.
perhaps that we should be alerted more to the fact it would be a welfare issue?
Possibly.
Because that was someone like you crowing on about it, wouldn't it?
You say it's a welfare issue, lads. I mean, as in, obviously, if a horse has had training problems and you're minding it, then I suppose you are looking after their welfare. But surely horses, like people, have preferences, and if their preference is that they don't run at their best on fast ground,
I don't really want to be banging the Australian drum again, but this is all up front and known. Everything on when the decks come out much earlier than they do for British racing, about 72-hour decks, I think, down there, aren't they? All this is available to you. You can read it all.
A much better upfront explanation
is required.
Would settle me down a little bit, but. I find personally that if you were to question, like I did, Alan King as to why that will rattle them up a bit. And I don't think it should. I just think they should answer the question and say, well, fair enough. And then I would say, well, fair enough, that's your view. I just wanted to ask the question. I don't see
I asked it for you and I got burnt.
Exactly.
So if he answered back and said, in my opinion, Graeme, Trusham is better on slower ground than faster ground, and so I don't run him on faster ground, you're okay with that?
Then fair enough.
I'm thrilled to say we now
I just
move on
want to know
Aintree.
why. I just want the answer. That's all. I want the question asked, and nobody asked the question. They just go, "Oh well, Alan King
Perhaps
knows
that
best."
should be up to our judiciaries a bit more. Like I say, the stewards down there and
I mean,
all the
did
racing
you
jurisdictions,
see-
they do that down.
Well,
in
you
different-
didn't see the modern games last night.
Since.
Well, obviously there was a huge fracas at the start, right?
Yeah.
And straight after it, the American broadcasters, they had the camera in Appleby's face for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Then they went to a vet to talk to the vet about it and what had happened.
We knew everything
We
that was
knew
going on.
absolutely
Yeah.
everything. If that had happened over here, we would barely have seen from Charlie Appleby. We wouldn't have spoken to anyone. It would have just gone by, oh, well, that's not running.
Well, the Warwick incident yesterday, the novice hurdle, where even people on the track didn't know why the next race was being delayed because the stewards didn't bother to tell anyone that they were looking into this photo finish. 10 minutes later, they finally came out and said, the next race will be delayed. It's a 3-runner novice chase and all that sort of thing. And everyone went, that's all we wanted to know.
Exactly.
Just get the information out
It's a different attitude in Australia and USA. The trainers are there.
We've
to
got
be
a bad
spoken
attitude,
to.
is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is that especially in football as well, like the people involved come out and speak to the media. In racing, it doesn't always happen.
Too sensitive.
Yeah, too sensitive.
All right, we could go on and on about this. You get the feeling that the bear has now been poached. We'll be delighted to do that. Let us know your thoughts about that, of course. You can get involved. This is Racing Post Live this afternoon. If you're joining us, we're nearly halfway through 10 races, would you believe? We've got the Grand Sefton coming up. Thank goodness over here we do tend to wait for other races to go off. And while there's a 2 mile 5 race at Kelso, they should be ambling down to the start. For the first time this season, it's been moved, the Grand Sefton, isn't it? Of course, for a Saturday showpiece, a fitting bunch going to Post, Barry Orr.
Yeah, Cat Tiger, your favourite, the Paul Nicholls trained runner with Mr. David Maxwell, his owner rider. 6 Senior Citizen is second in. 6'8" Thomas McDonough. Hogan's height 12, 5'11", time to get up. Spyglass Hill is 11 and it's 20 bar them. Very tricky race ordinarily, not something that you could bet with any confidence in, but having read Paul Nicholls' piece on betting.betfair, he makes a strong case for the favourite Cat Tiger, especially off the mark of 134. He's had entries this weekend in Wincanton and LP, so interesting to see that they're taking up this option. Ran so well here in the Fox Hunters as well. So yeah, just a tentative pick, just 25 quid on the favourite, please. G-Rod, Cat Tiger, and happy to looking to set our own price here. So we're going to look to back it at around 4.5. So we'll select the back and put the odds up to 4.5, put in 25 quid and put that bet into the system.
He's had a couple of rides, David Maxwell, Barry as well, probably getting ready for this, I would imagine. Obviously, the point-to-point season is alive. Dave will be riding plenty there. But this is, you get the feeling this is the one, isn't it?
Well, apparently he did a bit of work with Frodon, didn't he, during the week, or last week? And he's meant to have worked the house down. They were very, very pleased. Now, what you can read into that, I'm not sure. But Connection seemed to... He gave them a bit of a wow factor off the back of that piece of work.
We've had a Captain Tomcat then going in. Posty, will the Tiger pounce?
I'm with the Tiger as well. Like you say, with the course form behind Cousin Pascal and the Fox Hunters in April and the handicap mark. I mean, I completely agree with Barry. What
that's
you're reading.
Interesting. Yeah.
But back in a handicap now, I mean, like, there's no doubt this horse could have gone down the Hunter Chase route and probably been cleaned up and gone back to Aintree. They're obviously going to try and exploit this handicap mark that they think is favourable. Yeah, I don't know how much I read into the work with Frodon and, David Maxwell's 11 stone and Bryony's less than 10 stone. They worked a mile and he sat on Frodon's girth. I don't know what that means, but I think that the form is there with this horse, He's a
134 horse. You're talking about 170 horse, aren't you? So
yeah. I mean, look, if like I say, if you're buying into a literal mile piece of work, meaning anything major, but I just think I like the course form.
And David has gone close over these fences before, hasn't he?
And you've got to respect the trainer, and I'm not sure. It's a competitive race, but it's not like a hugely deep race, is it? Like, the Grand Sefton.
Here we go.
Oh, they are off indeed. All right. So I should tell you that I like Senior Citizen. G, what did you like? Was this a tip race?
Yeah, I quite like Sir Jack Yates. That's what I backed.
Who again was second in the race last year, wasn't he, Sir Jack Yates?
Yeah, second behind Bo Bay last year and fifth in the Topham.
Yes, it's just whether we can do it first time out. But we are off and running. They didn't wait for Kelso to finish. I said they probably would do. What have we got? Sir Jack Yates then, who also absolutely adores these fences. Isn't it great to see the Birch again? And he's going off in front. What's this keeping him warm? Let's have a little look down. It is Via Doloroso for the first time for David Pipe. So close we remastered in our first race at 1:08. Spyglass Hill. This is his big FA Cup final, if you like, for the De Brom Headyard. Could they possibly come over and plunder another prize? He was well fancy under Hugh Morgan in the betting. Looking down as well, Mac Totty, one I thought had a chance. Where is the winner 2 years ago, Hogan's Height? He's being prepped out the back, is he? Under page 4, he usually likes to get on it. Senior Citizen, guys, he could not go with Live, Laugh, Laugh, like a lot of horses couldn't, of course, from 2 out at the Aintree meeting. But he jumped so well last time. I just think he is a Sefton, that kind of... He's a national fence horse waiting to win.
Yeah, I mean, he beat Sir Jack Yates in that race, of course, but there's a turnaround in the weights here. I think it's around about £7, and I had the finishing speeds on that race, and Sir Jack Yates did a lot more early work than Senior Citizen did. He finished a lot slower, so I felt that maybe he'd done a little bit too much too soon. But he certainly looks like he might be doing that again here, Dave, because he's out in front. He must have shortened up on Betfair, is he, Barry?
Which one's that? Sorry, G-Rod?
Oh, my one, Sir Jack Yates, almost fell.
Yeah, so Jack Yates, he's into 10 from a Betfair SP of 19.5. He's 10.5 now. 4-8 Senior Citizen, 8-8 Thomas McDonough. Via Del Rosa is 15 from a Betfair SP of 43. That's an interesting one for David Pipe, first run, ex-French runner. Be interesting to see how that goes.
Very interesting they're going over these fences, that's for sure. And of course, this is the first of a road to Aintree, of course. Everyone says it's the road to Cheltenham. Well, these guys...
mistake by Cat Tiger there, Dave.
Okay, that was a perler, wasn't it? So David Maxwell had to sit tight. Al Rock on the inside, ex-French, Dr. Newland, Doc Newland, I should say.
Doc.
Again, he just... Some horses just don't take to this whatsoever. Senior Citizen, again,
What's
really,
this
really
thing
catching my eye.
alongside me here, Dave? I wish it'd go away.
This is the Via Doloroso, isn't it?
Problems.
Via Doloroso.
I'm starting to get excited. I like it when I'm in front on
If
the
you're on
national fences.
Spyglass Hill, I'll tell you
Beautiful.
what, you're loving that fact. Let's have a look. Now, the most interesting horse, I think, of any running almost any today is Time to Get Up, isn't it? Of course, the Midlands National winner, an anti-post Grand National favourite with a lot of firms, and running over
Beaches,
2 mile 5. Is this a prep for the Beacher?
Beaches, yeah, this is Beaches now.
We're coming up to Beachers. Because, of course,
West
the one...
Awake getting a good cider.
Which one? The West Awake?
Edward O'Grady's runner, the West Awake getting
This
a
would
good
be
cider.
great to see. This would be so good to see. The Magnia Colours winning a race over the national fences. I'm excited about this and this goes in.
Good.
So Time to Get Up, Posty. Midlands National. We
Yeah.
saw what Mighty Thunder did. Second to him in there. Went and won the Scottish National, of course. The form is there. But isn't it interesting? They've moved the Grand Sefton. You can now do the Grand Sefton Beecher double. Surely this is all about the Beecher.
Well, you
What have we got? We've got one.
So Jack
almost
Yates
gone
nearly
again.
gone.
So Jack, I'll tell you what, gee, it's not your day today, my old son, so far.
Oh, Spyglass Hill's gone.
Spyglass Hill has gone. Hugh Morgan.
Mine's back in front. I
Hugh
don't know how
Morgan
that
fell
happened.
off by the look of it, and Sir Jack Yates is still up there. And as we want to see in these national fences, you want to be up front. Now, I'll tell you what, Time to Get Up looks like he's not got out of bed yet. He is absolutely
Come
gone,
on, James
isn't he?
Best.
That's stank in the betting.
Beautiful.
Now, where's Senior
Oh, no.
Citizen?
What was that?
Where's Senior? Oh, I tell you what, I'm cruising. Come on, Senior Citizen. This
Here you are.
is exciting stuff. Via Dolorosa, then Barry, then we're getting to the business end. Who's hot?
Yeah, Senior Citizen's your favourite at 6-4 at the moment. Via Dolorosa 4.7. But it's all about Senior Citizen. Your initial favourite, Cat Tiger, at the 33-1 now. Haven't hit 1,000 at one stage.
Come on,
Okay,
Jack.
great stuff. Wow, 1,000 to the Cat Tiger. He's just got probably a bit too much to do, but we're coming into it then, aren't we? What's this? Is this 4 out, 3 out?
This thing's just
3 out.
3 out. Okay, we've just gone. Look at Mac Totty cruising into it as well. James Bowen, he'll be playing his hand late. Senior Citizen, your eyes are drawn, aren't you? Come on. This was the nap yesterday. Can this possibly do it? But Via Doloroso, the unexposed horse, now takes over from the Jack Yates. That lack of a prep run, I think, certainly paying him. Hogan's height couldn't possibly do it, could he? He's a little bit too far back. Now we're coming to the famous second last. And I'll tell you what, Senior Citizen, it's a case of how far, isn't it? Oh, come on, let's get him up. I've said this before in the National, and I've finished second a few times.
Winner's
Mac
in
Totty.
front, Dave, surely, isn't it?
Come on, what are you talking about?
Winner's in front,
I'm trying to see
Dave.
who's on this. Of course, it's David Noonan.
in front.
You'd think it would be Skoo, wouldn't you? But
David
he's on
Maxwell
time.
is cajoling Cat Tiger
Oh,
back into
come
this,
on, I
lads.
don't want this. You should have kicked, boys. Okay, we've got a loose horse up front. Is that going to play with Via Dolorosa? It's a case. I'll tell you what, Adrian Eskin is thinking to himself, how far? Have a look behind you, Adrian. The cavalry are coming.
This must be a huge price, isn't it?
Mac Totty then, he's fit as well, isn't he? That's the thing. Now Senior Citizen shaking the reins. Oh, this is going to be annoying if he doesn't get up. Here we go then. Is that the last?
Problems.
That's the last.
Come on in without the elbow. Yeah, no, look there, Heskin as well. Via Doloroso now filling his lungs. It's between Mac Totty and Senior Citizen. Come on, the Citizen. Can you do it? First run, though, to Mac Totty's not stopping, is he? This is going to be galling, I think. Come on, the two are going absolutely clear. Something's coming out from out the pack. I can't see what it is. Manuel. Come on, Senior Citizen. Can you do it? Adrian Eskin now getting stuck in. Mac Totty's got first run. He's going to deny him.
Doesn't get there.
Very game,
Oh, not going to quite do it.
holding on, Dave.
If he had his time again, would he have pounced? I don't know. Two come well clear there in the Grand Sefton. Oh, and James Bowen enjoyed that. He punched, of course, the air. They've got loads of business over the national fences, the Bowens, haven't they? Pull way clear. Isn't it great to be back at Aintree with a full crowd? Well done if you got Mac Totty. I guess, Barry, from about 2 out, they knew only a few could win.
Yeah, your runner-up traded low 1.75, 8-11, Dave, for 112 quid. The winner, Betfair SP of 25. We also had other horses trade short in the race. Sir Jack Yates traded a low of 6.2, had a Betfair SP of 19.5. Via Dolorosa traded a low of 2.7. That's ran a cracker first time up for David Pipe. 2.7, a low of Via Dolorosa. But your winner, Mac Totty, Betfair SP of 25 and hit a high of 44 in run.
I have to swallow that one, I think. You loved that as well, didn't you, when Mac Toy? I've just, come on, get it out of the way. Sometimes you get that what you call the betting shop mentality, didn't you? You were like, oh, Dave Orton come second. That was a nap at the weekend as well. Senior citizen. I'll tell you what, that reminded me of, oh, goodness gracious me. You know when Many Clouds beat, what was the Paddy Brennan horse? Or St. R, then our late St. R. When Paddy Brennan came, they're 2 out, looking behind him, and I'm thinking, come on, Paddy. And I always tell this story. I famously sat on the London Racing Club with Leighton Aspel on the eve of the Grand National meeting. He said to me, we think Many Clouds is over the top. So I am literally counting the retirement fund as St. R's coming, and Paddy's having a look like this. Turns out he bumps into one of the best national winners in recent memory. I feel like I've got that again. I'll tell you what, I've had enough of them, of those national fences.
They're overrated.
No,
They're massively so.
The main reason I was happy Senior Citizen didn't win because I made it between the Topham two, Senior Citizen and Sir Jack Yates, and went for Sir Jack Yates, so it would have been a bit galling to be on the wrong one.
Yeah, and you laid one on me there as well. No doubt our viewers are probably laughing about that one. All right,
just quickly, in terms of the best jumpers, chestnuts are the best jumpers.
You've run the stats.
Chestnuts are the best jumpers. Bay stroke brown jumpers are the worst.
Oh.
Right. Okay.
So don't buy any bay brown.
No.
We've got to go to Wincanton. We've got to go to Wincanton. We will pick that back up. There's loads of non-runners here as well, Barry. I'm all over Rose of Arcadia here. Posty likes it as well. 4 non-runners. She's short, right? But the Tizzards, we know they're back in form. They took the first race on the card.
Yeah, the stable's in really good form, and young Brendan Powell seems to be riding really well, and with a lot of confidence for them as well. And I was giving it a chance, Dave, and when I did my form at the 48-hour deck stage, it was going to be my selection, but the way the ground is now, I couldn't have her on it. Now, I know she's probably a class edge on them, but the ground has to be a massive concern. She showed all her form with plenty of give in the ground. So, yeah, I'm going to oppose her here, and I'm going to oppose her at Winhouse, the horse that Tom Cannon rides. At the moment, it's 294 Rose of Acadia, 4-7 Winhouse, 7-4 Unda Serene, Egland and the Soy 9-8, 8-2 Hotter Than Hell. But like I said, G-Rod, for me, it's Winhouse, and we're going to have 50 quid winner. Dragon's Bones form comes into play here. She was 6-4 favourite that day against Dragon Bones, the horse that you always like to mention, Dave. But
rightly so, Barry. It's one of the biggest SP winnings we've ever had, thanks to you on the show.
Yeah, but I just think she's a filly that's definitely gone in the right direction. I know that that this run should take her on considerably as well. But I'm looking to oppose the favourite at the head of the market. So 50 quid win here, please. Winhouse, G-Rod.
Yeah, she's got to give her just £3. I like Winhouse as well, but if Rose of Arcadia Post is not better than the marker 119, I'll be amazed. You like it too?
I do, yeah. I mean, like you say, whether it's today or not, I think this mare is a well-handicapped mare for sure going forward.
They're off and running, G. Is this a tip race?
No, it's not a tip race, no, but I do like the Tizzy.
The Tizzy horse.
Tizzy, yeah.
The Tizzy horse. This is Rose of Arcadia.
Tizzy, yeah, Tizzy
So
Rascal.
the 3 of us for Rose of Arcadia. And she has opened up in front.
I look forward to you telling him that.
This is not. It's still a tidy little race, isn't it? Because the 3 market principles, they're all horses that can do a bit better. We've got Eglinton de Soy in here as well, haven't we? Angus Chalada. What price was she turned over last time over fences? It was 1-12 on at Newton Abbott. Wouldn't it be an absolute egg on face if she came and picked him up here? And of course, Hotter Than Hell, probably better than she's shown so far this season. Another Alan King runner. That Alan King who places his horses so very, very well. Okay. Flat or jumps.
Yeah.
Okay, so the problem is with Rose of Arcadia last season, she was a little bit free. And I think I'm liking this though, Posty. Brendan Powell has opened up by 5 lengths over Une de la Senière. The Millennium Racing Club horse, Virgil O'Brien, Paddy Brennan, who is alive to this. But they know she's better than 119. She's a Shively Park horse. She'll be fencing soon. Crack on, go win the race.
She's got a lightweight as well. Like the ground is good. Front runner's track. Let her roll. I agree with you.
I used to play a bit in running at Wincanton, so if you're playing in running, obviously listen to me. Then between the second last and the last at Wincanton, the race seems to change
dramatically.
Complexion.
You can see horses veering off a bit, can't you?
There's a long run, I think, between 2 out and the last.
Why do they hang in between the second last and the last there at Wincanton? Is there if you're on, I see it all the time. I do the comments in running at Wincanton quite a bit, and there's always one that something comes stand side. Is it the crowd? Is it the paddock
I think
gate?
it must be they're gravitating over towards that way. But I won the G-Rod though. There's a long run from the third last in the back straight all the way into the second last. Now, whether you're seeing people get racing too early and therefore there's all of a sudden a collapse between the second last and the last, I don't know.
Barry, let's come to you quickly because this has opened up in front and the market loves it.
Yeah, 214 now. Had a Betfair SP of 279, but 214 into even money actually as I speak. 5.4 Winhouse, 5-2 Unda Serene, and it's 14 bar. But yeah, favourite out in front, and the in market running seems to be just not not the price you think it should be. Like it should
No.
be. It should be maybe a little bit shorter, heading out towards 6-4 now. So just not shaking them off yet.
Just giving him a slight breather.
Yeah,
right?
but and I think like what you said though, Paddy Brennan obviously thinks he's not going that quick, and he's very much been alive to this, that he wants to close the gap between Under La Senière and Rose of Arcadia, and he's noticeably done that from the back of the last of the circuit to go.
Yeah, and Winhouse, a Barry selection, Tom Cannon, of course, reliable Alan King rider. He's now starting to sense it as well. They're concertining up front. So the question is, was Road of Arcadia a little bit too keen earlier? Has, of course, Brendan Powell given the breather and will stretch on again. Big year this for Brendan and the Tizzards, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's great, isn't it, as well? He rode a Cheltenham Festival winner for them as a conditional how many years ago. They had a fallout when he sort of was riding Native River and all of those as
Friends
novice
again.
chasers, and they're all back mates again.
Yeah,
So
great stuff.
One big wheel racing, it keeps on coming round.
Absolutely. It won't be too long before Joe takes over the reins, of course, from his father, Colin. But at the moment, this will go to Colin under his name if she wins the prize. I'm hoping she stays there. She's a little bit scratchy there, G.
Yeah, the front two both made bad mistakes there, Dave, but they didn't lose any ground at the finish.
And what's this coming? Perfect Myth under Kai Lenahan. Don't know much about him, Posty, but Neil King's mare, she can get involved. She's got some good ground forward to her name. Cut the Mustard, of course, another Willie Mullins ex-horse now for Paul Nicholls.
This is a clumsy horse in front of it, just bulldozes through.
Clumsy?
Looks like it's made for a fence, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
Oh,
bulldozer.
definitely. She came from the point
Yeah.
field, didn't she? She's very well handicapped. Has she got enough? Now Undella Sinière just feeling the pinch slightly. Paddy Brennan. I tell you what, if Eglantine de Soy wins this, having been turned over at 1-12 over fences last time, Angus Chalada will be saying, you should have got me on it, boss, all the way. The local lad to ditch it, of course. Now they're all going for it. Winhouse could well be the danger, Barry, turning in.
Well, if it is, it's going to be some performance. But your favourites bang in front, 177. Winhouse is out to 8, 5-6 under Syrian, and 19 Eglinton de Soy. They have to get to the one in front, but it'd be interesting to see if she finds much, if something pulls up beside her. But I don't think anything's going to get to her now.
Yeah, Winhouse is not totally done with it. I wouldn't rule that out at all because we see this. It's a long way home. They jump in the second last, then G. This
It's
is where,
just here.
I'll tell you what, Winhouse is coming here.
Yeah, it's between these two flights when you usually see a real change in the race. And is that going to happen here, Dave?
I'm certainly hoping not. I'm hoping the rose is still going to bloom hotter than hell. The King pair are after the Tizzard pair. Then Posty, will she get gubbed?
I think she might, Dave.
Oh, she's reached it.
Yeah, she
hotter
looks
than hell.
tired,
Then
looks tired.
Winhouse in beside them. Barry said she went big. She's fallen in a hole. She's done too much too soon.
She's going to get up and she.
Alan King at it again. Look at Winhouse. Barry's going to outside. Here he goes. The Barry's getting on. I tell you what, Barry, I called it. I should be doing more in running judging, I think. How big did she go turning in?
Wow. Janie, she looked at one stage jumping the fourth last like she was going to go out with 1,000 to 1. She hit 55 in running. Winhouse did. £2 trade at 55. At 50, 25 quid traded. Unbelievable stuff. The third horse, Rose of Arcadia, hit a low of 1.23, Dave. 123 in running. And the second horse, Hotter Than Hell, is second, right? Hotter Than Hell hit a low of 1.14, 7 to 1 on. So 4's on and 7's on the runners up, the second and third, and 55 on Winhouse. Unfortunately, I didn't back it at 55, but happy to back it at what we did for the charity, and it was part of our lucky 15.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, once again, I've had...
And that Dragon Bones form is holding on.
Hey, there you go. I tell you, Barry, it's hot, Dragon Bones form.
Yeah.
She ran really well at Cheltenham the other day, didn't she? She's not done
she
with
finished
at
second.
all. Yeah, absolutely. I think Harry Skelton... People thought he might have done a little bit better on that as well. We won't go there.
Really?
We won't go. Yeah, once again, honestly, we're the pocket talkers around here. Don't worry about it. You ex-jockeys.
I thought he gave it a good ride that day, too.
Well, maybe, exactly. There you go. Maybe he did. So listen, that's Wincanton. We've got 2 more coming away. No Goshen in the Elite Hurdle. That's our final race for you of 10, 3:35 this afternoon. But we do have a Badger beer, they call it now. It used to be the Badger Ale, didn't it?
Yeah, Badger
I said, you can't be diverse. You can't go against diversity in the beer world. It's got to be beer. Whether you like ale, whether you like lager,
really?
whether you like anything,
It's all the same.
There's so many beers out there now, aren't there?
Yeah.
What, are you a craft man? Are you
When I'm with you, I am.
You're crafty, I can tell you that much. Okay, all right, November handicap coming up. Oh, the Rose, were you on it? I think there's still another one, but she just needs to settle down. G was right, wasn't it, from that second last at Wincanton? It's a long way home. Barry couldn't see it in running. Winhouse gets the job
Will
done.
they drop her back in trip?
Rose of Arcadia? Good shout. Pointer, isn't it? So yeah, go on, Barry.
No, I'd say they'd could step her up and trip, but I'd say the ground as well was... She was feeling the ground, I would imagine.
I want to give you a line on the ground actually at Wincanton, if you don't mind, Barry. This is quite interesting for our readers out there. James Stevens, one of our top reporters in the game, a young emerging talent, been nominated, of course, for the HWPA. Great guy, James. He's emailed to me to say, Charlie Hammond, jockey of Captain Tomcat. This is the interesting point. He stayed, which probably won in the race. So we were talking about Mick Poste, weren't we? And so he said, look, I've outstayed him, basically. But he said summer ground is right for him. And if it had have rained, you probably wouldn't have seen that performance. You might not have seen him at all. I know a lot of people aren't happy it stayed dry. We're delighted. So every horse, you've got conditions and all that sort of stuff. We're about to turn it on its head and go for the November handicap at Doncaster.
But what's wrong with just running them and then if they get beat, they get beat and then turn out next time? And yeah, that's what Mark Johnston does. I mean, Mark Johnston trains more winners than anyone in Britain on the flat, and he runs them every week, no matter what ground.
They've been a bit precious about maybe a horse not letting himself down on the ground, herself down on the ground, and maybe feeling it next time.
The other thing that interests me about this week, and I mean, Paul Nicholls is not a man that I would usually criticise on this at all because he's very good at running his horses. But I just wonder if he considered ever running Brave Man's Game in that intermediate chase tomorrow at Sandown. Only 2 horses have turned up for that race, Chantry House and something else. And that, to me, it would look an ideal opportunity for Brave Man's Game. There's soft in the going description.
Well, he is a novice, of course, and this is...
but he's talking about going for a same sort of race in the Betfair Chase. So
the problem is that it's interesting with Brave Man's Game. We got a minute to talk about this. They're keeping him to 2 mile 4 because he's not short of pace, is he? And he jumped beautifully at Newton Abbott. We saw, albeit fortuitously, Fusel Raffles won the what was it, Charlie Hall, wasn't it? Of course.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Charlie Hammond for some reason. Charlie Hammond chase.
Yeah.
But keeping him to 2 mile 4, they're going to wait for Kempton. You think, aren't they? Step him up in the Corto style, the old Felton. Basically, that's his race, isn't it?
Oh, well, yeah.
They don't want to go 3 miles yet, is what I would say to you.
Yeah, fine. But
and it's a long season ahead. Do you remember Nicholls when he got beaten by Bob Olinger, senseless? They still can't believe that, can they? He came in the heat of anger and the heat of battle. He came out and said, "I'll win 6 times going into Vessel, and something Irish will come and do me again."
Yeah. Well,
so they have got that very much on their mind.
But I mean, that's a proper horse, isn't it? Bob Olinger. I mean, that's an absolute star. But anyway, that race tomorrow at Sandown, if we can just go back to it. I mean, what is going on with that race? It used to be run in December on the day before the Tingle Creek.
Mike Bite won it, didn't he?
And Mike Bite won it.
He was unimpressive, isn't he?
And yeah, it always attracts a small field then, so they moved it back.
Did Bobsworth win it as well? It's that sort of horse, isn't it? He likes to run in it.
Yeah, but this is the problem, isn't it? Over the jumps, there seems to be this... In Britain, not in Ireland, we'll try and give these horses an easier time as they can in the run up to Cheltenham. Then when we get to Cheltenham, we'll go for it. The problem is, in my opinion, is these horses are turning up at Cheltenham and they haven't really had a proper race before they get there. So then when they get there, they face all these Irish horses that have been racing in proper Grade 2s against each other all season, and they're just not battle hardened to cope with them. That's why one of the reasons, in my opinion, that they're getting beat.
The bear has been.
But Nicky Henderson seems a very keen proponent of that soft option, that soft route. Like, he won't be upset that only the big breakaway is taking on Chantry House tomorrow. That's for sure. Like, he'd be delighted at that. Which with last year, when Altior, before he pulled it out of the Betfair Tyndall Creek, he was saying basically the Tyndall Creek was just a prep race for the Champion Chase. Not Altior, the other horse. But what horse am I thinking of? Was it Altior?
Yes.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
He doesn't hold those races in any real esteem. It's more a case of he starts at Cheltenham and he works his way back.
Hendo would absolutely be happy to win match races all the way, wouldn't he? Because
the problem with this race, it's an intermediate chase, so it's for second season novices in theory and it doesn't really fit a lot of horses.
He loves it though, doesn't he?
Because it fits his perfectly.
It's the right track.
He's often got a Grade 1 potential staying chaser.
Big breakaways on a bit of a recovery mission, isn't he? Talented horse, of course.
So should they just change it and turn it into a different race?
Well, there's an argument, possibly, yes. But I mean, then you'll get Nicky Henderson.
It doesn't sit well, does it? There's only 2 runners running in what should be the flagship race tomorrow.
If you took that away, Nicky Henderson will be up in arms saying he doesn't have opportunities for his good horses. So
but you could turn it into a handicap and he can run it off top weight. But
I
he
feel a bit sorry for
wouldn't
Chantry
do
House,
that.
because he's one of these horses that people think he got lucky at both festivals that he won at, didn't he? Cheltenham and Aintree. I was... In the big jump off that we did, I put him down as a Ryanair candidate, likely, because we had to, but he's one of so many horses that could go up, second season novices that could stay at the intermediate or go up. We're going to find out a bit more about him tomorrow. So look, it will be fascinating watch, but only 2 runners. We must go to Donny because it is a November handicap, one of longest, old established handicaps on the flat of the entire season. It is, of course, the traditional bring down the curtain race. And a right old field. There'll be some right old gambles as well, Barry, or none more so, on John Butler, Holly Doyle, and the 3-year-old Farhan.
Yeah, Farhan's your favourite now into 6, so 5-1 and strong at that, Dave, having been matched at a high of around 16 and more at around the 14-1 mark. So really, really smashed up this. First light 9-4, 6-6 flying solo as well punted with SDS in the plate. Sam Cook 15, 13.5 called the win. The horse I like in it though, G-Rod. We're just going to have 25 quid win and place. I like Prince Alex with Rossa Rhyme. We were talking about Rossa earlier, not going over to the Breeders' Cup to ride the 3 runners that his retained owner has out there. But he could get compensated here. Didn't stay in the Cesarovic behind Buzz for his first run for Michael Bell after being switched from Rafe Beckett. He won the Summer Handicap, beat Urban Artist that day in Goodwood on soft ground. So he's getting his ground again, and he's getting a trip more to his liking. The 1.5 miles, I think, will suit him here. A lot of these could be over the top. He could well be over the top, but at the price, he's currently 17. 25 quid win, and in that, and 25 quid win in the standard 4th-place market as well, please.
All right, Barry, there we go. Okay. Prince Alex, yeah, we've seen him at Goodwood, isn't he? He loves the mud, doesn't he? And Rafe Beckett keeps his horses in such good form. All right, you've got plenty of time to react because they're not even behind the stalls yet, I can tell you. Let's get some social interaction up before we get the tips come out. East Asia, you can see the spotlight tip. Andy Sim, good to have you. Flying solo each way. I'm with Tom Segal on that. And you, David Manuzzi's horse. I thought he might even be an Ebor horse. Remember when he tore up a couple of handicaps? Went to York, didn't he? Won so well. I think he'll like the ground. SDS on. Funnily enough, a double-digit draw is what you want in this historically. Those drawn 1 to 9s, for whatever reason, in the last 10 years, have struggled. I'm with you. Jesus comes back on and says, Global Storm to bounce back and win? Question mark. Paul Keeley really likes him. He is drawn on the inside. He'll stay well. That was Kills' reasoning. And this is the sort of handicap that the boys in blue can run there. Lesser lights in if you want, and still show themselves to be the top of the pile. Looking down some of the other chats that I've got. I've got your chat box on YouTube open here. Hugh Masson, well done to you. You were all over Mac Totty as well, weren't you? Good stuff. I can see lots of people out there. Paul Bakewell like it as well. Oh, look, and here we go. We've got one for Posty. Can you read this, Posty?
I can read it.
Shall I read this? So Saving Inzaghi says, anyone know if Ben Post is related to Charlie Post?
Unfortunately, he is. He's my brother.
Double trouble, isn't it? The postman, there's a lot of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually 4 of us.
How is Ben?
He's good.
Oh, there, 4 of you.
4 brothers. Yeah, 4.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
There you go, learn something new every day. But Ben is obviously
now
the most famous Post.
Yeah, by far. He always was. Yeah. No, he's good. Good ride in the big race at Wincanton coming up. So
on
Some Chaos. Yeah.
Okay, for the
Michael
Scudamore.
Scudamore. Love the ground. Yeah.
The only thing I remember about Ben, we've had a bit of banter about this. You remember last year, G, when the amateurs couldn't ride because of the countrywide amateur sports ban, and in Ireland as well. Ben sat on. You had a couple of hunter chases, didn't you? Angster Marlborough, was it?
Yeah, he fell off it, didn't he? Yeah.
The horse that had never unseated or fallen before. He's got a professional on. He sticks his brother on. It had a bit of a squeak as well, that race, didn't it?
He was travelling well, yeah.
He was travelling in Ludlow. He was travelling really, really well. And I remember I was saying, he fell off it. So yes, they are brothers in Zaghi.
What colour was the horse?
He was a bay. Yeah, he was a bay.
Let me just check the stats.
Yeah, right. Go through that, yeah.
Okay, so listen, great to have you out there and keep interacting with us. Don't forget that survey as well. You can find it in the chat boxes on Facebook Live or on YouTube as well. Chance to win a £50 Amazon voucher. It takes 3 minutes to do. We'll only use your details to contact you. We're going to draw 3 winners at random later on. Saying thank you to you basically for watching us this year. What would you like to see with the show transforming going forward? Just let us know. Doesn't take long to get involved whatsoever. All right, good stuff. November Handicap. I've painted myself to the flying solo mast. Where are you going?
Yeah, quite a few old friends in here because there's a few stayers dropping back, so I know quite a lot of them. I have actually gone for Farhan, the Fav. He wasn't Fav, but he is Fav, been well back. Tom Siegel's put him up.
You wouldn't have seen him going off Fav, would you, yesterday?
No. Do you remember we did the
power of
race here?
Segal?
Well, I think you were in the seat when Siskany beat him at Newmarket, and we sat here and watched that race.
The old Rolly.
Yeah, we thought it was a really good race at the time, and the first 2 came clear, and Farhan looked like he was going to beat Siskany, and then Siskany just outstayed him, but they were clear of the rest. And I don't think there's anything as Siskany's in this sort of level. I mean, Siskany went on to be odds on for a
forget
group
that
race
run
next
though, wouldn't
time.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, forget that run.
St
next
Simon
time,
Stakes it was.
He was beaten, of course, Siskany next time, but it was, you can forget it. But he was odds on to win that race. I don't think there's any Siskany's in this. If Farham runs the same level, he'll win.
He's only got one all-weather win to his name, isn't he? But he has got some good Sandown form in the book and
The
stuff.
other one that might be worth a bet is Sam Cook.
The lunatic, reformed lunatic, Sam
I mean,
Cook.
he hasn't changed in price. Farhan I thought was a good bet at 10. Sam Cook I thought was a decent bet at 12s, and he's still 12s. So if I was playing this, I'd be playing Farhan win and Sam Cook each way. But I must admit, I haven't had a bet in it.
They are hurrying up into the stores. Saw a nap earlier on, didn't we, for the Dark Jedi as well. Posty?
With the spotlight, East Asia for me. The 2-month break in the summer.
Ian
well
Williams
at Nottingham.
won well last time. Richard Kingscote on. All right, this is going to be fun and furious. It is.
I handicapped that race last time.
Is this the last race we're doing for Donny? It is, I think, isn't it? Wow, the final time here on 2021 then. Barry, let's come to you. A couple more to go in. Farhan holding his price. I think it's Flying Solo, the other gamble.
Yeah, 6.4. He's holding his price. Flying Solo at 8.294 first light. 15.5 calling to win. 9.6 Curiosity. That's a really real springer in the market now with Callum Shepherd in the plate. Really well supported. So he's the best of the outsiders at the moment. Some money for Prince Alex, who's into 16.5.
Funny horse, Mr. Curiosity. He was put up as one of the market leaders when the 48-hour decks came in. He drifted right out. Late money for him then. Good luck wherever you're playing. They are off and running, and they're spread right across the track. A couple of being scrubbed out the back. I'll tell you what, Global Storm didn't look too happy, does he? All Right Sunshine, one of our favourites here on the track. He is, again, being scrubbed along a little bit. Deja out the back as well. Flying Solo, not a bit of it. He's lit up front. Did not see him leading, even though SDS is in the plate. Watch this HMS President. A horse, again, has got some really solid form. Just can't quite get his head in front. Something now joining them up front as well. That looks like Nuit Saint-Georges. So it's the Menuisier Pay. David, friend of the show.
Yeah, and the Nuit Saint-Georges always races prominently. He went off far too fast in the race earlier in the season at Goodwood and actually ran really well after going too fast. So it'd be interesting to see if he can keep up the gallop here. Farhan were a bit keen without cover early on. I don't know if Holly's managed to slot him in there somewhere. It's hard to tell.
He's in the light pink colours, isn't he? Let's have a look. I think he's just in sort of third or fourth, and Neil's a little bit further back.
I think he's dropped back now.
They're definitely going decent pace, Posty, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like a good gallop on in these soft conditions, and it's going to be very interesting. I mean, the really long straight at Town Moor, and once they turn in now, you could see horses slotted in a bit, maybe. Are they slightly more favourably looked upon at the moment, Dave, do you think, or not?
Well, I think it depends if they get the breather, doesn't it? What's this on the outside coming up as well? Looking for Rhythmic Intent. He's about 6 off them. Is it Sky Cutter on the outside under John Egan? He'll put a bit of pressure on them. Dark Jedi's cruising in. We're coming into the home straight. I tell you what, Calling the Wind, a lot you like out there as well. Again, he deserves to win that big one after that third in the Cesarewicz. Coming back down in trip. Where's the Gosden horse? Looking for First Light, isn't it, of course? Out the back at the moment with work to do. Sam Cook, where is he? He's settled nicely today.
Yeah, he's just out the back, I think, is he?
He is at the moment. So
he's
what?
on the left-hand side in the white hat,
Coming up to the 3 furlong marker. Barry, do they think the closers are going to whop them up?
Orange, still your favourite at 6.2. 8 Flying Solo. 9.6 Calling the Wind. 9.2 East Asia getting bang into it. Prince Alex as well into 10.
This we'll see whether they've had the breezer up front then, thanks, Barry, because Flying Solo, and he got a lead from
I'll
Lee
tell you,
St. John.
Farhan's going to win, Dave, I think.
Is Farhan
Farhan's
coming?
gonna
Is he
win.
under Holly Doyle?
I think
He's
gonna
absolutely
win.
steaming. Flying Solo, you think. Look at Dark Jedi on the far side. Whitehaven up there as well. Here comes Farhan. This is the big gamble. Calling the Wind. We know he stays. Sam Cook on the
Cook's
near
there
side.
now.
I seem to be saying Sam Cook all year long. Prince Alex is coming late. This is all over. Is it 101? Yeah, it will be surely. Holly Doyle, I tell you what, has he gone a bit too soon?
No, this is one day.
Holly's not going to get gubbed here, is she at all? Calling the Wind, running his socks off again in second. Sam Cook, another really solid horse, but Gamble landed. If you followed him prize-wise last night, Tom Segal whoosh all the way down from 10s into about 9-2. Barry, when did they know?
They knew from about a furlong and a half out. It went into around even money, Dave. Calling the Wind hit a low of 2.5. Sam Cook, who's ran well to finish third, that hit a low in running of 2.24, so just 5-4. But your favourite Farhan, a Betfair SP of 16.57, so around the 11-2 mark, but had been matched pre-race at 16.5 for a tenner, but more at around the 12 and 10-1 mark. Some considerable sums done around those figures, all the way down to the Betfair SP 16.5. Job landed, and the finale, the big finale of the flat.
Yeah, we bid farewell to it then. We look forward to 2022. What a year it has been. And Holly Doyle, what can you say? And I'll tell you what, Posty, a lot of these big handicaps, True Shannon Light, she gets on with it soon. This was a completely different craft of ride, wasn't it? And she's played absolute blinder.
Yeah, she's given it a peach, hasn't she? Like, delivered it perfectly at the right moment. And I don't know if he still looked a bit, like only a 3-year-old looked a bit raw, but she's just so strong, isn't she, as well? Like so able to get riding behind them and grab hold of the horse. And yeah, I mean, again, from a furlong out, you've absolutely no concerns if you've got Holly Doyle on the horse's back, have you?
Those front runners fell in a hole, didn't they, G? I think, I'll tell you what, Flying Solo was about 6th or 7th in the end. It's probably run a bit better than it looks on paper. Calling the Wind is that you, of course, have finished now your staying handicappers RPRs. You're not doing any more on the flat now. Your last one was at Nottingham in the week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
I
was.
know, because Mel Rose got hold of me. And so you knew about this, didn't you? I was the analyst that day at Nottingham. I was also doing the close-ups, and I said, a horse, I can't remember what it was called. Cloud Thunder was the horse. It finished about 5th, and I said, it's run all right. You know, it was beaten a long way, but they rated it as running £9 below. Mel Rose, for the first time this season, you know what I mean, the betting editor alongside his assistant. I noticed you didn't do the dirty work. I got an email in saying you've got that wrong, Dave. You think that the second is the benchmark. We don't want it to contradict. And I had a little look, and I thought, no, all right, I'm the senior analyst. We had a little bit of a tête-à-tête, and I changed my words.
You backed down, did you?
Well, I just, a lot going on, to be honest. But no, so, yeah, well, how was we haven't spoken about that yet, have we? I noticed you sat in the background on that one.
It was very amusing because I did say to Melrose, I said, well, make sure you make Dave aware of this, won't you? And
all season I've not heard a thing from you about handicapping and my analysis.
And Melrose said, yeah, I think there's something else I can mention as well. And I was like, Dave will love that.
Yeah, the winner, I said it should have an all-weather campaign. He goes, but it could have been a bit meatier there, Dave. It could have been a bit meatier there, Dave. But anyway, finally, thank goodness that's ended. Calling the Window, in all seriousness, great benchmark, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
What a horse to own. I'd love to see him jump it, wouldn't you?
That's different gravy, that winner, isn't it? It's different class.
What's it going to be next year, 3-year-old? I mean, it's very difficult to get not to get carried away with November handicap winners. Bad ground at the end of the year. He's not like he's hid his light under a bush all year, is it?
No, from a handicapping perspective, I've generally been rating races at this time of year on testing ground lower than I would rate them in the midsummer.
As I found out. As I found out in the week. All right, okay. Where are we going? Bid farewell to Donny then. Who got the winner? Who was with the gamble? Let us know. Holly Doyle, what can be said about her? She smashed through the 2 million prize barrier. First lady to go anywhere near that. I think Hayley Turner's around about the million. It just shows you what sort of level Holly has gone to. 3rd in Spotty, of course, last year. Sporting personality. She's just thrown a late hat into the ring for that as well, I think. So many superlatives, rightly so. Another great season. Group 1 breakthroughs again, thanks to True.
By winning the November handicap.
Listen, it's the last flagship race. Everyone else has gone off to the Breeders' Cup. She's stayed here.
Right.
If you were at Town Moor today,
yeah,
you loads of people, full crowd. You've gone to so many people have just backed Holly, wouldn't they? So,
I get that. I don't know if she's thrown her hat into the sports personality of the year.
That was a little bit of a come on. That was a bit.
I used to have a good mate who used to say this was his favourite day of the year, and the reason it was his favourite day of the year was because it was the last turf flat meeting of the year, and we could just focus on proper racing from now on.
Such being the jumps.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well,
so
we can do that now on the show. I'm delighted to tell you. Shall we go back to Wincanton then, Barry Orr? Because it is the Badger beer, not the Badger Desperado, not the ale, not the craft beer. It's the Badger beer. And which way are you hoping that it will be sunk after the last?
Yeah, the two at the head of the market are Hurricane Harvey and Captain Nord. He's probably been the best back out of the two of them, really, considering he was a bit of an anti-post gamble as well. Captain Nord with Jack Tudor in the plate. So it's 6 Harvey, 6.6 Captain Nord, 8.6 Irish Prophecy, 10 of all the gin joints, 11 Sun Chaos. El Presidente, last year's winner, is 14.5, and Cobra de Mai, 12. That's what I like in a Cobra de Mai. Was 153 rated at one stage in his career. Had basically 2 ways of running, either run well or pulled up, and has switched from Dan Skelton's and has had 2 decent runs for Caroline Bailey since switching from Dan Skelton's. Is down to a decent mark now of 127 as well. So gets favoured good ground here too. Wasn't a bad run last time out in Chepstow with Fine Chica Vias and Kitty's Light. So some glimmers of hope there. Runs in its usual headgear. Very difficult race, but Cobra de Mai for me winning place. 25 quid win. Happy to be a price taker here as well at around 12.5 G-Rod. And we're just going to look back at the standard place terms as well, the 3-place market. 25 quid win there as well. Hopefully, pulled up in this race last year, but hopefully the switch of yards and Bridget Andrews knows it very well too. And hopefully the switch of yards could just work the oracle, and off a mark of 127 could get competitive here today.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Barry. A fiend of a horse over the years. Cobra de Mai. Paul Keeley has gone for this one as well. Yeah, sometimes you look at the back class on horses, won't you? And this, if you believe in back class, G, this knocks your eyes up. It's got top Racing Post rating 151. Here it is running off 127. It's been in some of the top handicaps down the line, but it's one of those that comes there 2 out and you're thinking, this could be the day. Doesn't quite get it off. But Caroline Bailey, I'll get a word from Poste about her in a minute. The queens of the point-to-point world over the years. Any love for this?
No, not for me. I like.
Moving on.
I like the Tizzy Rascal. Yeah, I think this could go to the.
Is this a new thing, Tizzy?
I've never heard of
This
this.
could go to Tizzy.
I'm just not sure Colin.
What is the Tizzy Rascal of all the gin joints?
Yeah, of all the gin joints. Yeah,
Another horse with back class.
So we had a bit of Tizzy last Sunday for the Colin Parker, didn't we? It was the Fiddler on the Roof. And then we had a bit of Tizzy on Tuesday for the Horton Gold Cup, didn't we? Eldorado LN.
Has won the first race, but disappointed, I think we can say, with Rose of Arcadia. But the yard are back, right?
Basically, the yard have not been in form for about 2 years, have they? They've had a real, by their own high standards,
huge standards,
a quiet couple of years, which means they are probably got a few well-handicapped horses in that yard, and they are now back in form. There's no doubt about it. They're back running to their best, and of all the gin joints, has got bits and pieces of form that suggest he can win. I mean, he beat a horse called St Bart's at Exeter. Now, St Bart's is quite a nice prospect.
I like St Bart's, the Hobbs horse. Yeah,
and then he finished 5th behind Happy Go Lucky in that red hot handicap chase at Aintree on, I think it's Grand National Day.
It was.
Now he's put in a bunch of other weird runs in between, pulled ups and disappointments. But like we just said, the Tizzies weren't really absolutely firing last year. The Tizzy's on fire this year, and he stuck the blinkers on. That Tizzy Rascal, I think he's going to do it.
You're hoping some fizzy from the Tizzy in the gin joint.
That's it, yeah.
First time blinkers. Can I point you towards his quote in the paper today in the Members Club?
No.
Of all the gin joints, had a bit of a bad run at your top. So I don't think he tried too hard. Okay. So trying some headgear. He's got some questions to answer, but he does. If you look at the excellent Kevin Morley's 10-year trends, this is a big trend race because it's again one of these long-established staying handicaps where certain horses hit historical ticks. Of all the gin joints, was on the shortlist. So there you go, a Tizzy tip for G. Are you tipping your brother in this race on some chaos, or are you?
Yep.
You are? Oh, interesting. Inzaghi will be very interested in this.
Well, it's a sentiment thing, but I mean, to be fair, I mean, the horses.
Come on, you don't strike me as a great sentimental chap.
That's a bit rude.
I don't know about that. I think he's probably on the mark.
Yeah, probably. Look, I mean, the horse had a wind operation. He's 10 years old, but he's pretty low mileage for a 10-year-old. I don't think he's had that many starts in his life, and he was better than ever in a veterans chase at Chepstow. Loves good ground, and he ran all right in this race last year behind El Presente.
Yes.
And yeah, like I say, it was a career best the last day. He's on the up. He loves good ground, and yeah, I think
£7 rise was. They had to give him this £7 rise.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely slooshed in at Chepstow. So
my issue is, Posty, right? He's a 10-year-old, right? I know he had to give him a £7 rise, but this is the sort of thing with our handicapping system. You're looking at a 10-year-old, and think 147, against some of the likes of Hurricane Harvey, who if it clicks on 136, and even Irish Prophecy, who I've gone for, by the way, with 3 mile 3 winner last time. Finally, Irish Prophecy came back. I did tip Hurricane Harvey yesterday. I was doing feature shows and ours, but I didn't see him at 9-2. And the reason why I couldn't back him each way, Hurricane Harvey, because I know that Hurricane Harvey is not really showing. He's not been blowing them away, shall we say, like he does at home on the track. And he's a Wincanton winner, Hurricane Harvey, but at 9-2, not for me. Irish Prophecy, I think if he gets into that rhythm again, had a lot in hand, didn't he, Emma Lavelle's horse?
I'll tell you, that was a good performance, that Irish Prophecy, around the course and distance, wasn't it?
It was 3 mile 3, wasn't it? So a little bit further.
The time was absolutely superb.
Was it?
For the grade, for that sort of chase. And there was this sort of point, I think it was about 3 out, where he just went bang, bang, and then it was like boom, it was like this jump, and he just unleashed the most sort of prodigious leap, almost like Denman-like. He just like bang, and you were like, wow, that's got loads in hand, and then he cleared away to win well. But he did finish absolutely bang on around 100%, which suggests that he was ridden.
He's given everything
to the max. He can't do any better than that. I'm not sure he can.
Emma and and Barry Fenton, the team there, they always thought he'd be a graded horse. He just must have had the odd problem, but he bounced back to play. So course winner. In this, we've got Captain Or at the top of the market as well. For Christian Williams, who of course had Kitty's remarkable run in it when he belted every fence. I think came out behind El Presente, who we mentioned does take in again. The wind up, really not much love for him in the market, I don't think. But Captain Or has been well fancied.
He's one of those horses, though, isn't he? He's got
He's got that Royal Pagaille form, hasn't he, at
Yeah.
Kempton, where everyone thought, right, next time he just wins. We saw him in the Sky Bet and races like this. He's got his ground, and I wouldn't put you off. Christian Williams. I spoke to Christian not that long ago under the excellent Jack Tudor. And,
there's no doubt they can set one up, but this horse always kind of gives me that feeling that people are trying to second guess what's going on.
And how much can you wait for him to produce as well?
Yeah.
I wondered how much Kempton might have taken out of him last time. So, but he's holding his position then, Barry Captain Or for the Williams yard.
Yeah, he's 6'2". He was 6'6" the last time we spoke. Your favourite, just Hurricane Harvey at 5.9. 8 Irish Prophecy, money for that. Some Chaos, steady at 11.5. Cobra de Mai, steady at 12. Potterman, steady at 14.5. And I've all the gin joints out to 13.5. He's on a bit of a slide. 16 El Presidente, last year's winner. So, yeah, Hurricane Harvey looks like he's steady at the head of the market, Captain Nord. Just sliding out just a little now, 8 to 6.8.
Okay, yeah. But again, Hurricane Harvey, we'd have to have a quick concentrate on him again. He's a Grade 2 winner over hurdles. That 3 more, was it the Albert Bartlett trial a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Probably not the strongest of races, but just waiting for him to click to play. His second season over fences, it looked like it was a prep for something last time at Chepstow, I think, when he just flattened out.
Again, that was his first run back from a wind up.
Exactly. Second time wind up, we like that, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Just explain that a little bit. A horse that has breathing issues can remember they can breathe again.
Some of them can,
Not always.
Not always the case, but like you say, if a horse has got a wind problem that has been remedied by a wind operation, then sometimes it does take them a run just to get their confidence that nothing is going to impede or interfere with their breathing when they get to the pressure part of the race. Once they get a bit of confidence from that, you can see then improvement again on that second run back. And I suppose that's what you're looking for from here, isn't he? I mean, he was beat by a stablemate at Chepstow, wasn't he? Paint the Dream, and is he Paint the Dream's one of theirs as well?
Yeah.
So
that was the now horse you felt at Chepstow, didn't you? The one, yeah. Like I say, it caught the eye. I didn't expect a bit of a fire in this that we saw in the November Handicap. Talking of the November Handicap, let's get some more social interaction up. Not just Posted, it's going for his brother. Spotlight doing it in some cases as well. Hugh Masson comes on and says, Captain Or for me, only £2 higher than his second behind the mighty Royal Pagaille. Absolutely, lots was said about that, wasn't it? So look, it comes back to that form. Absolutely, Hugh. Perhaps going this way round, track should suit. It's all there. You need a bit of a leap of faith, Hugh. You're keeping it. And what have we got? We've got one about Holly Doyle, I believe, as well. Yeah, Inzaghi says Holly wins at Ascot Champions Day, wins the last of the season. Someone should have taken her to Del Mar. Well, we're delighted to have her sticking around, aren't we?
very much so, yeah.
She'll be doing the Bahrains, though, and all that sort of stuff, and Saudis.
We're racing.
Going back out. We're racing, though, in the Badger Beer. Let's pour it on. Who's going to lead? Good luck to you in the 3 o'clock. It's one of our favourite handicaps all year. The jump season is rife, and all the gin joints, G, you're right up there with Cobra de Mai.
Yeah, come on, the Tizzy. The 2 Tizzies are in front, straight off Stormhome, and of all the gin joints bang there, Cobra de Mai right there. I'm not sure what that other one is, but they're going a good pace.
Now, this is something interesting. They are absolutely sprinting to the first 2 fences, Posty, aren't they? How much does a season where... how many staying handicaps last season did we see where the front runner just stayed there? Cloth cap in the Hennessy, the old Hennessy and all that sort of stuff. How much do jockeys get that in their head? I've got a lead.
Well, I think that's the start, especially in Britain, is so vital to these staying chasers.
Look at Hurricane Harvey, a horse that doesn't like it up him.
No, and look, I mean, Paddy. I mean, Paddy Brennan likes to do this a lot at the moment. I mean, especially I always think in bumpers, they always drop their bumper horses in. Fergal O'Brien. But getting out the gate and getting a good start and getting
he's out of his comfort zone though, G, isn't he, Hurricane Harvey? And Barry, the market has reacted. He's gone right out.
He's right out. Yeah, Captain Nord is a clear favourite of 5.3. Irish Prophecy strong at 5.9. Of all the gin joints, 9.4. 9 El Presidente. The market likes him now, but 5.4 Captain Nord.
Last year's winner, of course, El Presidente. And Dave Bass said this is his favourite horse after that when he won. Hasn't gone right for him since. He fell last time 153 days ago, back off a break. Some people were moaning about Kim Bailey's string, but he had a winner yesterday at Warwick. Look, he can't give a good man down, can you? But Bassey, G, did you think this one could repeat the feat? Back-to-back beer winners.
He's a very tough horse and he jumps well, doesn't he? But he does strike you as the sort of horse who's in the grip of the handicapper. We've got Rocco, have we now pressuring the two tizzy horses up front. It's solid pace here, Dave, isn't there?
Yeah, some lovely old favourites in this. Innisfree lad, Mark Karofsky, who sometimes sits in for Barry on Betfair. He put this up. That was a huge price winner for Mark. He's right out the back at the moment for Dave Dennis. Rex Dinglon doesn't really look like he's enjoying himself. Irish Prophecy on the inside. Some chaos. Ben's getting a good spin.
Yeah, he's got a good slot down the inside. He's had to work hard for it, though, trying to keep seeing positive shots to keep the horse there. I think they got a real good gallop here early on, you know.
Luckiest winner of last season also sits in this race,
Yes,
doesn't it?
yeah, Potterman.
Potterman. I hope Alan King's not watching today, but Kingy, that was a dramatic Bet365 Gold Cup recovery.
Surely even Kingy will accept that he was lucky there.
I don't know. Do you reckon he will?
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, we knew absolutely. But he's there. He's being pointed possibly towards the Scottish National, I think, isn't he? Also moved in the calendar. I'll tell you what, they're going to right old gallop here, aren't they, Barry? On Hurricane Harvey is starting to warm up somewhat. Double shuffle too.
Hurricane Harvey's out to 10, Dave. 10.5 now. Hurricane Harvey, 10.5. 5.6 Captain North. 5.5 Irish Prophecy. They're the ones the market really likes. El Presidente as well at 7.4 is in considerably. 9.2 Potterman. They're the main ones that the market seems to be liking.
Posty, if you are on one now, I mean, he mentioned Irish Prophecy there.
Yeah.
He's got a lovely sit, hasn't he, Tom Bellamy on the inside?
Ben went for a long stride, missed out on some chaos, and Tom Bellamy's got up his inside there.
He's not running away with him. He's
not running away. No.
No, I said Hurricane Harvey is warming up. Now listen, last time we were at Wincanton, I called Windhouse is coming. I think I'm going to go for again. Hurricane Harvey's finally getting into his rhythm. He sprinted early. He didn't like it. If he gets into a rhythm, he'll have a say. All right, so just Innisfree lad, double shuffle. Probably going back Kempton in February for him, isn't it? Cobra Demai just slipped off slightly as well, hasn't he? We'll see what he's got there.
Yeah, not having it at all. I'd say
don't fancy
pulled up
it.
in a race last year. It could be a case where the track, it seems to be very, very tight, and I might just like it. I could see him being pulled up again, to tell you the truth, Cobra, but there's plenty travelling well in behind. But Captain Nord, none better, 4.4, 5.5 Irish Prophecy.
Yeah, Captain Orr. Okay, Hugh Massey will be getting absolutely jizzy now at this point. Some chaos saw a better stride there, Ben, didn't they? Irish Prophecy there, but a horse that stays further. They're going to hope that the front two are just doing each other in a little bit. Looks that way, G, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think they're going a pretty good lick in front, aren't they, these two? Rocco and Storm Home. El Presente is really travelling nicely in third. He hasn't missed a beat, has he, either? No. Chasing-wise, he's flown every fence.
I would say he's absolutely full of himself, Posty, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he's travelling full of running. Again, he's got a very nice slot in behind Dave Bass, hasn't he? Just tracking the pace through as we sort of get along to sort of halfway down the back straight at Wincanton.
It's Harry Kimber, though, who's taking it along Storm Home. Who
Captain Ord is going well. So Gin Joints is coming. Come on, Gin Joints.
Yeah. Let's have a little look. Yeah, okay. Let's have a little look. So I'm just looking there for Storm Home, of course.
Nice.
He's a wing. You're loving this, G.
Yes, I'm in a good position here, and he's starting to jump well. I don't want to jinx him.
Do you think this is stablemate setting it up for number one, or we've got two tizzy horses up there?
He's got me worried he might not try.
Irish Prophecy.
You said he didn't try very hard.
Falling in a hole, not today for him. So it looks like it's going to be between Rocco still up there, Storm Home there, turning in then, aren't we? Okay, what's it? All the gin joints.
I think we're on the cross fence, aren't we now? The cross fence is next.
Oh, okay, we've got the fourth last coming up then. Absolutely right. Hurricane Harvey. He's just, again, it's all about rhythm with these horses. The ability is there.
Come on, gin joints.
So 3 abreast then as we come up to the tricky cross fence. Gin joints just about up top. The blinkers are working today, G.
Come on, Tizzy Rascals.
Could the Tizzy Rascals?
I hope I'm not on the wrong Tizzy here.
Madness for the Tizzy Rascals in the studio. Potterman though, could he finally show that he's not the unlucky, the luckiest winner in there?
Now? Go on, Tizzy.
This is up to
He's being a bit of a monkey
again. Is he going to try, Dave?
Oh, he's not trying. He doesn't like it up him. Call it now. I'll tell you what. Potterman's going to win this, isn't he? Hurricane Harvey must be going low, is he?
Here comes Hurricane.
Rocco's the one that's stretching on. He's been up there throughout. Jordan
Naylor
then.
This must stop, mustn't it? He's gone Davis. This has got to stop, Dave, this leader.
How did he go so low? Potterman Storm Home has gone. Took a pearler. Hammy Kimber on the deck. It looks like Captain Orr's only going to be fourth. Potterman, could he show himself it was no fluke? And the showpiece, of course, at Sandown.
Jumps.
He's going to get him, isn't he, I think?
No,
he's gone low again. After you. Twiston Davis, take it out. Jordan Naylor, take a bow. 1, 3, 4. One of the bottom weights in the pack. Stern performance, third time lucky for him. Potterman looked sure to pick him up, didn't he? They came clear of... Captain Orr was in fourth, I know that much. What was in third? I've absolutely lost it. Hurricane Harvey it was, yeah. He just never looked happy, did he? No. Barry Orr, another dramatic jumps race.
Yeah, you have to hand it to the winner though. He stuck it out well, hasn't he? They went by him, they came at him again, and he's just pulled out more and more each time. A really, really good performance from him. Your runner-up, Hurricane. I'll go through a couple that traded short. Anyway, Hurricane Harvey traded at 2.26. Hard to see. Irish Prophecy traded at a low of 5. You had Potterman who traded a low of 1.43, which is 2 to 5. And you also had Storm Home who traded at 2 to 1. So some some real short ones in behind. But hats off to the winner. I thought he was as game as a pebble and kept pulling it out. Looked a real tough sort.
Other jockeys will be once again saying to themselves on all your WhatsApp groups posting, you've got to lead in these Saturday staying handicap chases. We've got, of course, the open meeting coming up. A reminder, we'll be going Friday, Saturday and Sunday if you're on RP Live next weekend at Cheltenham. Do not miss any of that unrivaled coverage here on RP Live. But these jockeys are just getting into their head. But once again, it's been borne out.
I mean, that was a bit like a summer jumps race, though, wasn't it? You know, like quick ground, sharp track. And yeah, I mean, very aggressively ridden winner with a light weight. And
Potterman's run a blinder, though.
Potterman's ran very well.
Yeah, you do have to lead though. You know, this is a thing. You know, let's not pretend it's not. Like, this is a thing. Like, front runners excel in handicap chases over 3 miles plus.
Just takes horses like Hurricane Harvey, the gambler of the race, out. That second season.
I can tell you next week, I'll be writing a lot of analysis about Cheltenham, and I'll be banging on about it.
What, the front runners? Go for the front runners.
Go to the front. Don't mess around. Go to the front. The front runners at Cheltenham.
It does seem at Cheltenham
but
like
again, Cheltenham's like it's a sharp, undulating track. You're always on the turn. It's very difficult.
Isn't that interesting to hear?
To peg back, so if you actually go and walk around it, like, you know, people have this notion that it's this big galloping circuit, but
because of the hill.
But you're always turning. You're running up and down hill. You're meeting fences on funny camber, and like you say, if you're in front with rhythm, like you've talked about already, it's a difficult thing to peg back. As long as you're not getting pressured all the time for pace. If you get an easy lead round there, it's difficult to peg them back.
Yeah, and of course it takes a bit of jumping. Yeah, so if there's any fallers and you're in behind, you're then you could then be in trouble. Just being up in front is the best place to be.
For me personally, this is when the jump season really starts now. I'm still a bit of an old traditionalist, but I until I sat in this chair and things like that, I would always try and make a point of going to the Friday of Cheltenham. It's countryside day, isn't it? It's a beautiful meeting to go to. I remember seeing Barry there once. We crossed paths. And Barry, you're going to be down there next week, are you? I'm assuming.
No, I'm not there next week. No, Betfair Chase will be my next trip to a race meeting in the UK.
We're going to have you on the show then. I know that, so that will be great. People will be rejoicing in that. It's one of those meetings though, Barry, isn't it, where you've got a great. Of course, is it the Margiana next weekend as well? From memory, it starts to warm up in Ireland as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so. We warmed up here from last week, obviously, having the JN Wines, or what used to be the JM Wines, the Chase Up and Down Royal. That kind of marks the start of it over here. Badger Ales, I suppose, this weekend in the UK, but it really clicks into top gear next weekend for the open meeting in Cheltenham. Is it still called the open meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It used to be the opening the open meeting.
I don't think it is.
It is it's traditionally the open meeting.
Yeah, but I don't think it's called that anymore. Because they were worried that it would get mixed up with the British Open Golf.
Is that right?
Yes.
You're kidding.
No, apparently that is why.
All right.
It's called the November. It's called the November meeting now. And it's still the Paddy Power Gold Cup, isn't it?
But of course, they didn't have that October meeting that now some people like to think, that October jumps meeting at Cheltenham.
That's called the Showcase.
That's called the Showcase.
That's now called the Showcase.
It still is.
But when it was called the Open Meeting, it's had loads of sponsors over the years. And I remember Thomas Pink used to be one of my favourite ones down there.
For this meeting coming up.
For this meeting coming up, the Mackerson it used to be called as well, didn't it? Everyone remembers all these great
Murphy's.
You were racing when it was called the Mackerson.
No, but when I got into it, everyone used to say to me, you know what it's like when you're a young person getting into racing? It used to be called the Whitbread, it used to be called the Mackerson, obviously.
It's called the Murphy's Gold Cup at one stage as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Used to have Benson Hedges, all that sort of thing, didn't you? You were allowed to do those sort of things. I'm going to tell you what it's called, but anyway, it's the open meeting. That's kind of what I know. But I won't be going, obviously, on Friday. I'll be sitting in this chair. I can't wait. But it's loads of crowds going back. They've got trade stalls, don't they? And when you stand, do us a favour, go down the stand at the last. When they come up on that Friday and you've got one that jumps the last and the proper crowd behind you, we've missed that, haven't we? It's like going back to a football game for the first time. We go to a Premiership game, which I've been lucky enough to do this season. You forget, when the whole crowd gets behind something, how much you have missed it. We loved watching on television. We did such a great job in horse racing. But going back there will be special. Of course, you can watch us at the track as well if you are there via your social channels. You'll be there?
I'm going to go on the Friday, yeah.
It's the big. You can't be not seen on the Friday, can you? You've got to be in the crowd, haven't you? Tweeded up to the eyeballs, probably saying, "I've got a couple of beautiful babies to sell."
The one thing I won't be there in is tweed. So no,
not a tweed man.
No,
more Barbour. Of course, there are other sporting manufacturers out there.
Yeah.
But there is also a big sale as well, isn't there? This is now the famous sale, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like it's going to be interesting this time round with ground and that. I'm not sure it's going to be the strongest catalogue. There'll still be expensive horses, but I would imagine you're looking at December from certainly talking to the people involved with Tattersalls, which is the sales company that facilitate the sale at Cheltenham. They think the December sale is going to be the one where you might see some fireworks and some juicy prices, yeah.
They have now changed it to the November meeting as well.
Yeah. I'm going, Dave.
You're going down.
Saturday, yep.
You are going, so you can see the big bear at Cheltenham on Saturday. Because we've got Paul Keeley coming back onto the show next Saturday.
Yeah, Kills will be in my spot, which I'm sure a lot of people will think.
Yeah, we've got Batch doing 1 week, I think. We've got Natalie Green coming back at some point. Everyone loves Nat, yeah.
Kills loves a bit of Cheltenham, so he'll be on top form next week.
He's really back on top form. He's had the lurgy, isn't he?
He's
but like I say, yesterday he was on really, really good form, and I know he's been putting back in the winners as well for the Sizzlers. We could do with some Keeley help for this next race coming up at Aintree, couldn't we, I think? Because this is, I've said to you, they all go, by the way, 6 selections, 6 very well-known horses. There, you can see them on the screen. Barry, let's start with you. Me and Poste came in and I went, this 320 at Aintree is making me scratch my head.
Yeah, Brewing Up a Storm was the anti-post favourite for this, but absolutely friendless running off the back of a first-time wind operation, 5.6. Martello Sky is the springer in the market into 4.7. 4.9 Somerville Boy, 5.6 at the Cap Pits. 6-4 Wild About Oscar and 12 Liz Nagar Oscar. They're all really well exposed. I think you could say that about all of them, bar maybe the mare down at the bottom, Martello Sky, who has it all to find an official rating. She's rated 141, but I'm going to chance her in the race. Just that her comeback run, she absolutely slooshed in. She's 4 from 5. The only bad race she threw in was in the Mare's Novice at the festival, and I'm going to forgive her that. I think it's interesting that off 141 they're choosing to go down this route with her. It's obviously a fact-finding mission to see how good she actually is, and will set them up for the rest of the season in as so far as where they're going to go with her. So Martella Sky for me, please, G-Rod. Looking to back it at around a 5.0. I think 4-1's a fair price. We're going to make our own odds here. We're going to look to back at a 5.0, and we're looking to have 50 quid on her at that price. I'm confident we'll get matched, but we can come back and revisit it later on.
Yeah, she's definitely the up-and-comer in the pack, Barry, isn't she? Absolutely. And the markets does seem to be going with you as well. Lucy Wadham has had a winner in the last couple of days as well. Adrian Heskett on, only second in the Grand Theft, and Adrian to go bidding 1 better in this. Yeah, the market likes that. There are some right old characters here, G, aren't there? Who'd you plump for?
Yeah, I mean, this race was actually a race that I liked yesterday when I looked at it. I thought that only 2 horses could win it. One was Martello Sky, and at the time it was 10-1. It's now 7-2, which is a huge drop in price. And the other is Somerville Boy, who I thought at 7-2 now is by far the better bet of the 2, given that I've missed all the big prices on Martello Sky. Somerville Boy runs all his best races fresh.
Last year's winner.
Last year's winner, of course. I think he's well suited by small fields because he's a funny horse and he don't always jump that well, but he's got loads of ability. Who remembers that race that he won at Cheltenham? Was it the Supreme Novices Hurdle?
Long time ago,
and he made an almighty mistake at the second last and still won. Yeah. So he's got a ridiculous amount of talent. Just think he's suited by these small field muddling races.
And the rain would have helped him they've had up there. He's 2 from 2 and heavy. You know, he's that sort of horse when it's heavy ground, he gets going.
But yeah, I mean, if he's at his best, he'll win because he's the best horse in the race. Unless Martello Sky improves again, which she might well do. My thinking was Martello Sky got 142 for RPR last time. She probably needs to hit 151, 152 to win this race, which is an improvement again of £9 or £10. When she did win at Market Raisin, she finished that race in a different league to the rest of them. She was just in a different class, but she was being pushed along quite badly down the back straight in last place, looking in trouble. And then all of a sudden she swung round the outside and took off like she was just a different grade of horse. So it'll be interesting to see if she can stay with them in a small field kind of maybe tactical race.
And we're all with Barry, aren't we? Easy to forgive the Cheltenham run.
The one thing about this as well that we've got to say this year, and we bang on about all the time, but again, this is a thing. just back mares in these sorts of races. This £7 allowance is absolutely...
Is this the first time he's done this year?
It's absolutely hideous.
What about the recent run as well, compared to the rest of them?
And the recent round, yeah. But I mean, the £7 allowance is hideous.
It's hideous?
It's absolutely hideous.
You're going stronger on it this year.
It's absolutely hideous. I mean, like...
You look ill.
I mean...
You look like you're about to turn.
I tell you, on the flat, right, £3 is generous. £7 it's hideous. It's a joke. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're getting far too much of an advantage. I bet Honeysuckle would beat them all up off level weights, and she's getting £7 off everything.
You're getting the chat going a little bit as well, because see the community out there as well. And T. Mitchell says, "How can Graeme say Brewing Up a Storm can't win this? Can't win."
Did I say that?
Well, you said only 2 can win.
Oh right, sorry.
So, he's sort of taking your words and playing on.
He's got to carry the penalty, hasn't he?
Yeah, got a penalty. Do you think his form's that good?
Well, he's a horse that we expected. He's one of those. Again, Ollie Murphy's got a couple of these horses, hasn't he? That sort of. I don't know. Did we expect a bit much from his novices? I don't know. Maybe early on when he started.
Thomas Darby.
Thomas Darby. What's the other one?
The lad that ran in the old drone.
The real Itchy Feet.
Yeah. Linkers for Itchy Feet before long.
Absolutely, and this chap obviously wears pieces, doesn't he? He wears a tongue tie. He's had his wind worked on. Aidan Coleman, Ollie Murphy, we know the link up there. I've got some right old horses. They can do it, but he stinks in the betting, doesn't he? Probably going to need this first time out. What about if the cap fits? Has he gone a bit sour if the cap fits? Has he had some perler of some races? That's what he's had, some real hard fought races, hasn't he? And I just wonder.
Well, they stuck him over fences and he couldn't jump.
So he couldn't really jump, could he, over fences?
His form wasn't that bad, though, was it?
Yes, well, there we go. There's the social on the screen. And Craig Ruddock, good to have you back, Craig. Says, Wild About Oscar will lead and stay there. Posty?
Yeah, I'm with Wild About Oscar as well. I think this is a really trappy
famous
race.
Colours, these.
Pardon?
Famous colours.
Oh, they're good colours, these.
We haven't actually talked to you about this, have we? You're with Wild About Oscar.
Yeah.
Third time lucky.
Yeah.
I think we can say from the station yard, probably the most famous graduate thus far.
At the moment, yeah.
We have an Arkle.
Don't get me wrong.
Do we have an Arkle player?
We've got a few more of them in the stable this time.
Oh yeah. He WhatsApped me straight after. Third time lucky one.
He's going to have to. I think it's easy to get carried away with the performance at Cheltenham, but
third time lucky.
To win an Arkle, you need to be able to travel, you need to be able to jump, and he does all of those, doesn't he?
All right. Okay. Does Charlie know if third time lucky is going to the November meeting?
I actually don't. I haven't spoke to Harry and Dan about it. As in, I'll leave them to it. I mean,
it was mooted as being the plan.
I do
afterwards.
know that he's going to have a much more sparing campaign compared to last year. I think
they
even
must
Dan,
be so tempted. You know what Dan's like, and come on, the ground's looking all right.
Well, of course, but I think he kind of is kicking himself about the county hurdle and the Grade 1 at Aintree last year, making him so busy. Look, you'd imagine there's going to maybe a go to Cheltenham. There's the Grade 1 at Sandown.
Can he not go to this November novices chase? We know which Azertiup. I always remember. I was just there when Azertiup won, and he went and followed up in the Arkle. It used to, we've probably seen it with. Did Sprinter win it probably? Or,
yeah.
The right horses go there, don't they?
Yeah.
It was the trial, the British trial. Then you give him a bit of a winter break.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but there is the Grade 1 at Sandown. Whether he wants to go there with him, but look, I think as it stands right now, when you look through the British novice chasers in this division, he could easily pitch up at Cheltenham. But it's going to be very different, isn't it, when he gets there and you got Appreciated and all of those.
You were impressed with that.
I mean, of course, yeah. If you can't get excited by that when you've been involved all the way with a horse like that, it's not worth doing the job. But I also am trying to keep a bit of like.
And once again, it's a hot old year, isn't it? And we know that he kind of was a classy handicap.
The division is strong, isn't it? But the division is strong across the RSC. I'm not sure it's that strong here. So it's easy to get.
He's one of the best British, isn't he?
Right now.
Has he always been waiting to jump a fence?
Yeah.
It was because he was very good hurdler, of course. Yeah. It was that day at Musselburgh. Do you remember we were on the show? Yeah. He left his legs in last, didn't he? When he was looking a little bit cooked.
I mean, last year wasn't a great campaign. It was stop start and in and out. I think you'll see him campaign very differently.
Interesting. Dan Skelton changing the goalpost then. Very interesting indeed. Hopefully that answers you out there. Spotlight voted, then Somerville Boy weighing down on this as well. So Somerville Boy, the bet out of the two because of the prices. Your price sensitive?
Yeah. On price, yeah. I should have taken 10 to 1 myself yesterday at Martello Sky. But
this is some plunge then, Barry, on the Martello.
Yeah, she's into 4.7 now, but your favourite is if the cap fits at 4.2, 6.4 Brewing Up a Storm, and they've just jumped.
Okay, we are off and running. Yes, indeed. Not a split screen then for us here, but there we are.
Rain.
We're not waiting for each other, are they? There's a
load
load of rain teeming down then. Wasn't it a pleasure to see, of course, Mac Totti win over the national offence unless you're on the second, of course. Well, reminding myself that as I said that. But we are off at Aintree then. One of the penultimate race of 10 here. It's been great to have you on this afternoon. Still one more to come. It's the Elite Hurdle. Could that just be the race of the day? It might well be. But they're off and running, and Somerville Boy likes to get on with it. The rain, all the rain that's fell is in his favour. Heskin getting on with it. And then Wild About Oscar not leading. He's just not far above him. Martello Sky can tell he's going to try and come from last to first. Lisnagar Oscar didn't even mention this former Stayers Hurdle winner. Sitting in about full spot and brewing up a storm.
The worst Stayers Hurdle winner in recent history, as we mentioned
But a Stayers Hurdle winner nonetheless.
You're quite right, Poste. Right. Absolutely. Level it back up.
Yeah, try and win one.
Yeah, quite right. Lisnagar asking for Rebecca Curtis then. Wouldn't it be lovely?
It's interesting, this Martello Sky, because last time she was quite sticky early on her hurdles. She seems to be a little bit better, I thought, this time.
And I know it's early days, but I like the way that If Cap Fits is going over the first couple of courses.
Well, I'd be worried if he was off the bridle.
Yeah.
Martello is...
she's very small.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a tiddler. But she's still lightly racing. Just look at her profile. It wasn't that long ago she was in bumpers, of course. And take out the Cheltenham run. She's going the right way. And like you say, testing the water somewhat. Do you remember Simon Sig came back in this race? He's one of these races that if the cap fits, he's carrying...
Bobsworth won it at 10 years old. Bobsworth won it as a 10-year-old.
That sort of, it was that sort of horse, isn't it, that maybe has got a target later on. It's an acceptable sort of prep run, if you like. But Martello Sky, the market suggests that she's the now horse in the race. But she is observing from rear. Barry Orr, we're passing the stands for the final time before we go out to the far circuit. They must like Somerville Boy a bit now, mustn't they?
No, the mare's still favoured. 3.95 Martello. Now it's early doors and they're all travelling well themselves. 4-1 if the cap fits. 4.6 Somerville Boy. 8 Wild About Oscar. 14.5 Lisnagar Oscar. Brewing up a storm friendless, like you said, out to 7.6 now. But yeah, it's your favourite, just Martello Sky. But like I said, there's not much in it. They're travelling quite sweetly.
Okay, I've got a line from a James Stevens exclusive line for the RP listeners to give you on Potterman after this race from the Badger Beer. That's not gone out to anyone yet. The King, I tell you what, James Stevens, he's an absolute ripper, is James. He's a right asset for us, and he's got a lovely line from Potterman. But back to Aintree we go. I'm on Somerville, and I'm very happy with him at this point.
Very happy. I just wanted to ask you, why does Brewing Up a Storm continue to drift right now in this race?
Because he's doing nothing wrong, is he?
I'm just asking a question.
Yeah.
I don't
why
understand.
Is it? Yeah.
Why, I wonder why Barry. Why is that?
Barry, let's go to you. You don't know.
Obviously, someone's betting in running and has seen him probably missing one. He's kind of out of camera shot quite a bit because he's travelling on the outside and the camera's on the inside. So obviously, someone's seen something we're not. But he's into 6, Charlie. You know, these things happen all the time in running betting.
When as Postie's earpiece goes flying onto the ground there, that was shattering news for you, that Postie, was it?
It blew my mind.
Come in and sort that out. Okay, so I'll tell you what about Oscar's going well, actually. Listen to Gar Oscar, 2 mile 4, 3 mile horse. Again, it's a testing, and they're queuing up then in behind Somerville Boy. Just a little bit sticky there, G. Yeah. If the cap fits, about to take it up.
Yeah, he's coming up, but Somerville's back on it now. Matt Martello's really travelling well. I'm a bit worried because
got a bit to do, hasn't she?
Yeah, but she didn't travel last time. Then she powered home. Today she's really travelled.
She's got the Paisley Park flat spot turbo.
She really powers home, and the fact she's travelling so well is a bit worrying for me. But maybe Somerville will get her off it. We'll see.
3 out, Barry.
3 out, yeah. Martello 3.45.
She's cruising now.
5-2 favourite, but if the cap fits, 3-6. So the market's suggesting it's between if the cap fits and Martello.
Well, this is interesting. We've got a speed horse leading then in Somerville Boy. The Stayers are queuing up in behind him. Wild About Oscar still going well. We said this Postie was a race anything could win. It's a long way home off the final bend at Aintree, right?
It is a hell of a long way up the home straight here.
Now,
it's really going well. That
you've seen what they always do here. They fan out across the track. You know, at least you're going to get no hard luck stories.
I'd say Somerville Boy though in front. He's probably the one that's going to come last, I'd imagine. Yeah, they're all on the bridle, but they've got to get past the old boy, the former Supreme winner, who's giving absolutely everything as well. Doesn't he go well? But look at Brewing Up a Storm. All of a sudden, Martello Sky's finding this far too hot. Lisnagar Oscar outpaced. If the cap fits, can't go with them. This is all gone. All over. Hayden Coleman. This is the horse you said couldn't win. He's going to absolutely tot up over the Here we go, bing, and over he goes. Absolutely lovely stuff. Wild About Oscar, if the cap fits, really good run. Just a bit too sharp for him these days. Wild About Oscar, no good. This is Thrashville. And on we go. Ollie Murphy, Aidan Coleman, big winner on a Saturday for them. Finally showing what he's all about. Has that wind operation really done the job for blowing up a storm? He's blown them away, hasn't he? We'll get the panel's thoughts after we go to Barry Orr and the story of the race.
Story of the race, Martello Sky travelled so sweetly. She hit a low of 2.60 for 91 quid. So nearly 100 quid matched at around the 13 to 8 mark. But brewing up a storm, who was friendless in the market pre-race, I did flag that he was your anti-post favourite. But 6.4, a Betfair SP of 11 to 2. He went odds on just after jumping the second, or just jumping the last, he went big odds on. Martello fell into a hole, didn't find much at all, and the rest just stayed on at one pace. But great to see Ollie Murphy getting on the board and a big winner in Aintree, and hopefully that horse has turned the corner.
Yes, absolutely, because it's been a bit of a sticky time for him, Murph, because he's a character you know well, isn't he? Right old character, Murph, isn't he? Big Aston Villa fan, and he's got, obviously, the backing. He's got the stock. Some of these novices, have we been expecting a bit too much of him?
I think so. And like from a point of view of the operation, they really put everything into buying stores from the so unbroken 3-year-olds. Like they very like
Work
when they
in
first
progress.
started. So he's only, I think, 4th year in the operation. So even the first 3-year-olds he bought are really only kind of reaching their physical maturity. So I think it could be a very exciting year for him. I mean, he had 80 winners last year, and yet people are saying it was an ordinary year.
Because we're expecting with Grade 1 breakthrough.
Exactly, and maybe there was a slight lack of top-level quality, but I think, the way things are going at the moment, three more winners today. I think 2 at Aintree, one at Kelso. It could be a big season for him.
As you know, it's tough at the top, isn't it, G? You're there to be shot at every week. You said only 2 could win. They're not quite the ones you went for. I was sort of teasing you a little bit there. Let's just take all personal preferences away. That was a very good performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've always got to, when you've been surprised by a horse.
Look, and the Mr. Mitchell comes back on. Look, he's got you there. You've even got a little emoji look as well. Comments, Graeme.
A winking emoji, isn't it?
Great stuff. This is why we love the interaction on this show. Great stuff, guys.
Well done, T. Mitchell. He obviously saw something there that we
didn't. That's
didn't.
Tim Mitchell. You know,
could be.
Racing Post writer.
Yeah, it could be, couldn't it?
Trolling you.
I just thought that I'm just so surprised. I'm so surprised that horse has won that
like
well.
that.
Yeah.
Do you think there were some disappointments in behind? Would we get your RPR handicapping out, and would you use it for Cap Fitz as a fairly good benchmark?
Well, I think you'd be
looking
looking
at
at
Aintree Hurdle winner.
For a start, you'd be looking at what sort of horse usually wins this race over the last 5 or 6 years as a starting point, and then you'd go from there.
It's one of these versatile fences, and again, we know he can go fencing, can't we?
I mean,
He definitely won't go fencing.
No. So
he,
stay as hurdle?
He didn't like jumping fences. He's not. Yeah.
25 to 1 for the Stayers hurdle.
Yeah, finally we got it. Finally, Barry. We had to wait for the penultimate race before we got a Cheltenham quote. Thank goodness we got one.
He's not a very big horse.
We've had plenty of Cheltenham quotes.
Would you like to say this is your moment? You've got a window?
Okay, well, you haven't seen many of them. Captain Tomcat was 50 to 1 first show for the March. Captain Guinness that won in Nace is 20 from 33 for the Champion Chase. Yeah, that won in Nace. Eric Bloodaxe, who was quite impressive in a maiden hurl in Leopard's down in Nace, got a quote of 16 from 20 for the Albert Bartlett. So there has been plenty of action on that front. But yeah, get a quote for the Stayers hurl, your winner brewing up a storm. It's probably he hasn't beaten much in fairness, but he's carried his penalty and it's his first run of the season. So hopefully, the wind up. I think that's his second wind up actually, Charlie, that they've done on him. So hopefully it's clear now and they get a good run with him, because they've always thought very highly of the horse.
And he has got Cheltenham form as well. 25 to 1 would have been the worst quote in the world, actually.
Well, yeah.
Because it's an open division, isn't it?
So this has got me thinking as well about other races that I didn't think that was a very good race coming in, but he's won it well. And I didn't think last year's Aintree hurdle was that good a race going in, the Abracadabras one.
Yeah.
But if you look at the form, it's actually okay now, because Buzz, who was second, has won the Cesarewitch. I think the third Miller's Bank has won over fences since, and now Brewing Up a Storm, who was fifth, has come out and won that race. So sometimes you have to revise your opinion about races. I didn't think the Aintree hurdle was that strong, but it's thrown up 3 subsequent winners, Dave. There
are shocks all over the place there, because the team Norwich are winning a Premiership game at the moment as well. They're beating Brentford, and Jack Reeve, our spotlight, our social supremo, is running the show. I bet you wish you were there, Jackie, weren't you? That's delightful. They're beating Brentford 2-0. Shocks all over the place. We've got one more to come. Could this be the race of the day? Certainly one of the favourites of the day runs in it, Barry, or So Royale. As we know, he's got plenty of Cheltenham form as well.
Yeah, he's 1-8-2, So Royale, so 4 to 5. He's a 9-year-old. He's won this last year, didn't he? He won it 4 years previous to that. So 2016 and 2020 a winner of this race. So he's a standing order here, fair to say. He's 4-5, though. Sole Pretender, who is a really interesting runner here, and an interesting booking in Harry Cobden as well. Watch him as a pace angle. He'll want to be up there pressing it. He's 4.7. Belfast Panther is 9, absolutely friendless. 13, Christopher Wood, and it's 20 bar. Obviously, Goshen was a late withdrawal here in this race, but I like Belfast Panther. I just can't get away. He won the County Hurl off 129, and he looked like he was probably well handicapped, but he stepped up on that then when he went to Aintree and won the Grade 1 there. So he ran in the the Galway Hurl then. Bit disappointing in the Galway Hurl, it has to be said. Didn't travel with his usual fluency and then fell last time out. He's on a bit of a recovery mission, but at the price, I can't miss him. I think 8-1 is a decent price about him. So we're going to have 50 quid win on Belfast Panther at 9.0, please, G-Rod. He's just 8-8 now, but so we'll set our own odds and go to 9, and we'll go over into the late column and hope someone comes in and lays us that bet. But 2 very interesting Irish contenders here. Sole Pretender, like I said, is the pace angle, but the class horse in the race, and it's his horses for courses adage, isn't it? Is so raw.
Hoping to bookend the show then, Belfast Banter with 2 Irish races. Good to see 2 Irish horses coming over here. Of course, when So Royale won this in 2016, it was a handicap then, wasn't it? He won it last year. He was well in at the weights last year. He's got to now carry the £6 penalty. Keel's found one here, Paul Keeley, yesterday. If you're watching our feature shows, we said about this. Sole Pretender, who was around about 10-1. Cobby's on, as Barry said, very interesting for normally. Good record, fresh. His best form isn't that far RPR-wise off So Royale, over hurdles. We know So Royale can nearly win a champion chase, but lucky, of course, wouldn't he, not to have gone very close in that last year. Alan King on fire has had winners all over the place, as we know today. Sole Pretender, he talked me into it, I have to say. I looked at Belfast Banter. I wanted to see a little bit more from him last time at Listowel when he fell. But I can see this tactical setup for Belfast Banter. I think it's going to Ireland. Posty?
Yeah, I agree. Sole Pretender for me. And I think Goshen coming out is a big bonus because he could easily get a fairly uncontested
pressure
lead.
On the pace.
Yeah. And he ran well in the Galway Hurdle. Didn't get to dictate, which he likes to do. Beat Durasso, which is decent form on the run before that. And like I say, I just think good ground he loves. And yeah, I mean, I liked him anyway. And I think Goshen coming out is an added bonus.
Oh my Goshen, yes indeed, one of the biggest Northern Runner stories along with Brayman's Game. Too quick for him. We'll see him fight another day during the jump season. Where will it be? Not sure. Gary Moore will tell us, I'm sure, before too long what he's looking at. Okay, James Stephens, as promised, for the previous run. Very big smile on Kingy's face after Potterman won. Probably because he's shown he can do it with, second there. That shows how good he is, doesn't it? Everyone's going to think he was the lucky winner of the jumps finale. Delighted with his chances at a Ladbroke Trophy. You need that prep run going into a Ladbroke Trophy, don't you? The old Hennessy, basically, and he thinks that was absolutely perfect. I now remember speaking to Kingy about that horse, and he said he's my Ladbroke Trophy horse. So you've got one going in there, and I think Rocco might go there, the winner of the Badger Beer as well. What wins the finale, G?
Well, only 2 horses could win this race.
Here we go. Please say Sole Pretender is not one of them.
So Royal and Goshen. And Goshen doesn't run.
So this is a penalty kick.
So I think So Royal will win, but obviously I don't really bet odds on, so I will watch it win if it does. But it's in a different grade to this lot.
Yeah, all right. Barry's laughing away. Of course, the second to him, Takani, runs in this race as well. Hatcher, probably not quite good enough under Bridge Andrews, and Christopher Wood makes up the lineup as well under Bryony Frost. And he could be quite interesting back over hurdles. Good for Paul Nichols, of course. Like the ground, he's had the wind up as well. We're getting ready for the final race of the day. 10. Great to have you along with us all the way. A reminder, we do Friday, Saturday and Sunday. That's all 3 days of the Open November meeting next weekend.
You're not allowed to call it that, Dave. People might get confused with the golf.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to get as much stick as you are on the chat, I can tell you, for saying horses can't win and all that sort of stuff. So Royale, he's a marvellous horse, isn't he? It's obviously, if you don't love So Royale, there's something wrong with you.
Great, isn't he?
Yeah.
Completely.
And he was desperately unlucky, wasn't he, in the champion chase, not to have got a clean run at the finish.
Yeah, it must have been galling for them because you don't get chances like that very often, do you? In races like that,
He's got everything's in his favour, really. It has been quite difficult to carry a penalty in this. We'll see this, but they are off and running. And Christopher Wood, Bryony Frost, she likes to sit down in front, and she's going on. Sole Pretender, the gamble of the race. I think we can say that. The Irish Raider, Harry Cobden, a little bit free, maybe just up there as well. Hatcher observing. Takani, last year's runner-up. He's there. So Royale, beautiful sit, all ready for the fav. Darryl Jacob will be very happy. And Belfast Banter observing for here. A little bit keen as well. We go with the first. Yeah, he definitely had to think about that first. He was a faller last time. Belfast Banter. So not brilliant either. They're well strung out, G.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure about the easy lead angle on Sole Pretender because Christopher Woods is really pressing him when Bryony Frost has gone on now.
It's almost like Nichols has got another one in the race, isn't it? Because they've definitely
that's what he does.
Yeah,
it does definitely look like that.
Yeah. Again, if you're on Belfast Banter, you just want to see him drop his head a little bit because everything should be setting up beautifully for him. Takani on the inside, as I said, second last year, but couldn't really hold a candle to So Royale that day. Posty, which one do you want to be on?
Well, I'm still happy enough with Sole Pretender, but I agree with G. It's surprising to kind of see Christopher Wood ridden so aggressively, taking him on. But I think as they settle down the back straight, Harry Cobden will be happy enough. And yeah, So Royale's got a good pitch. I thought, like you said, he was a little bit sticky over the first initially, as was Belfast Banter. And now as we enter the back straight of Wincanton, yeah, I'm even happier now with Sole Pretender because he's now got the lead easy and Harry Cobden can hopefully dictate from here.
It's just whether he's had too much to attain it, Barry, isn't it, basically? But he's popping out in front. What's the market saying?
Yeah, not a massive reaction in the market-wise. He's a Betfair SP of 4.5 and he's trading at 5.0 now. Your favourite So Royal 1.75. Betfair Banter seems to be jumping a little better now. He's into 6.4 off a Betfair SP of 8.0. But yeah, market likes the favourite. No massive overreaction to the one in front though.
Okay, thank you, Barry. He's a little bit sticky there as well. Yeah, let's have a look at the market then, G. So Royale warming up. Everything you want to see at the moment?
Yeah, I think So Royale's jumping well. I think the faster they go, the better it suits So Royale. He's a very strong traveller, isn't he? It'd be interesting to see whether the race does change complexion between 2 out and 1 out, like it did in the last hurdle.
Oh, he's called it already, hasn't he?
It'll be very interesting to see because that is when the races change at Wincanton over hurdles.
Not sure Harry Cobden's that happy at the moment.
No, I think he's probably thinking, I was beaten up for the lead, haven't I? Norman Lee would have said, get out and get on the lead. And Takani, if anything, is going really well. Could it be last year's 1-2 that filled the same spots with turning in pretty much on? We've got the third last coming up, are we?
No, jumped the third last now.
Is that a really long run, isn't it?
On the long run to the second last.
Maybe this is why it changes complexion.
Yeah, exactly. They get racing too soon around here, and then all of a sudden you jump the second last and you get a bit of a pace.
They're really racing here, aren't they?
They've got to love the Fab now, haven't they? What price has he gone? He's gone low, hasn't he? So he's queuing up in behind. Christopher Wood. Two's on. Belfast Banter's got about 4 lengths to make up on him. Hatcher might even have a say because surely the front runners are going to start feeling the pinch. Great Pretender now, Sole Pretender now definitely feeling it. It's gone way too hard. Here we come. Class is oozing to the front here then. 2 outs. What are we going to see? Just wants to pop it up. Beautiful jump from So Royale. Belfast Banter, you never know what you're going to get with horse after they've fallen, do you?
Nah.
He's not respected his hurdles too much.
20 to 1 on.
20 to 1 on. The class, the cream has risen, G-Rod.
Last year, second.
There we go. Yeah, it's the 1-2 from 2021. From 2020. Then back. No Goshen, but So Royale. Have to say he would have done this anyway, wouldn't you? What a lovely little horse this is.
Tremendous horse, isn't he?
Yeah. Look at the smile on Posty's face. Absolutely loving it. The crowd will be getting a right thrill there. This is what we want to see on a Saturday. Your favourites turning up.
We do, but we want to see Goshen racing. We don't want to see races where you're getting horses just hose up against inferior opposition. We want real races. That's not a real race, Dave.
He's had to repeat his performance in the race last year. Give him some credit. Absolutely.
He's
You're beating him with a stick, man. I'll tell you what, next time Alan King comes anywhere near these studios, you're going to be nowhere near it.
I'm not criticising So Royal. I love him as a horse. But that is not a real race. I mean,
he's beaten last year's second, the same distance with £6 extra on his back.
He's beaten a Grade 1 winning novice Belfast Banter today.
Takani is not a Grade 2 hurdler.
Well, he's just been placed for 2 years in a row in an elite hurdle.
Well, that's because a lot of British Grade 2 hurdles are not real Grade 2s, and that's why we don't win at Cheltenham.
G-Rod Goshen can't go on quick ground. What's the point in him running? He'd have run rubbish.
We could go on about this, you sense, for a while. I tell you, we're not too far off a beer, the panellists down below.
An ale or a lager.
This will rage on in the Craft Beer Shop, I can tell you that one. Barry, story of the final race, turning in, I was still surprised to see him around about the 1-7 mark.
No real story, Dave, other than the winner gets a quote of 12 to 1 from 16 to 1 for the Betfair Tyndall Creek.
All right, yes, Tingle Creek could be next. Again, another dry run up to that. Who knows? We know. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll be turning up.
Great to see a horse that mix and matches, though, isn't it?
Lovely.
Hurdles, chases.
And
do you like that or not? Do you like that?
Yeah, I like
the
that.
way this horse is campaigned, you've got to love it, though.
Yeah. Oh, I love So Royal. I don't have a problem with So Royal. I have problems when we don't see proper races.
And you managed to get a winner on the board. 4 to 5 shot, but it means little.
I had Farhan.
Yeah. Oh, did you put Farhan up? Did you?
Well, I didn't back him myself, but I did tip him.
No, you did. All right, fair enough. Okay. Well, it's been that sort of day 10 race. It's been pandemonium in here. Great to have you along, Barry. Or another fine afternoon here on RP Live.
Yeah, great lads. Thanks. Really enjoyed it. It goes so fast. 10 races. Who knew? It goes by in the flash of an eye.
Indeed. Next weekend, though, Barry, we're concentrating on, I want to say a little bit more quality, but you'll be back?
I will be one of the 3 days or 2 of the 3 days. Yeah, just finalising that at the moment, but looking forward to that already. It's always great. And Paddy Parrott Chase to highlight, obviously. A lot to look forward to next weekend.
Yeah, we're talking about Morgiana's on the Sunday, won't we? Willie Mullins battalion coming back out to strut their stuff as well. It's all warming up. Thanks to Barry Orton. Poste, great to have you back with us. You'll be back in for the Newbury meeting, the old Hennessy Day.
Yeah, Matty Batch was delighted about it, wasn't
Well,
he?
we've been mixing and matching dates here about who would come on, and I said to Batch, Posty's coming on the Saturday. He went, what winner of that did he ride then, he said. But Batch will be back, a long overdue catch-up. G, we'll see you...
Friday for Cheltenham. Can I just pass on the tips for this evening on the Breeders' Cup?
Okay. Well, Tom Collins is here in spirit.
Master of the Seas in the mile. Walton Street in the turf.
Better.
Clariere in the distaff.
Never heard of it.
And Essential Quality in the classic.
Only 4. Tom Collins, you've got a rival all of a sudden. Thanks to you for watching, and I've been Dave Orton. Thanks to Carl and Will in the gallery. It's been a hell of an afternoon. Don't miss us next week. That's right, Friday. You heard it. We'll be back for the open meeting.